Mobile Home Park Challenge. We've got a live broker call that we will be jumping on probably in about 25 to 30 minutes. It's already predetermined and pre-set up. I just want to make sure and clarify. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I've got a broker that we should be calling here in a little bit. And give me a second. She's trying to set up a call with me. And here's what I want to do. She doesn't know me. So I'm going to send her a couple of deals that I just closed on just to add a little bit of credibility. And I know this is not something that a lot of you guys are going to be able to have the opportunity to do, but this will show you a little bit later. We'll cover the flow of a deal. Just closed on this park a few days ago. Closing on this one next week. Let's see here. Hold on a second, guys. I'm in real time communicating with a broker that you guys are going to hear a conversation. I've never spoken to her before, ever. And so I want to just kind of preemptively add a little bit of value ahead of time and let her know that I'm legitimate. And buying 10 MHPs this year and 20 or so RV parks as well. Okay, so for some of the newer people, you guys are going to say stuff like, well, I don't have what you have. You're right, you don't. And so one of the most important things you can do in the very beginning is partner with somebody that actually has what I have. One of the things that took me 7 years until I really gained momentum in the real estate world was finding people to partner with that had the credibility, the know-how, the bank statements, the operational prowess, right? A lot of these people won't want to sell or finance these RV parks or mobile home parks to you unless they know you have the ability to operate them. And so today, not only are we going to call this broker, we are also going to break down the full entire workflow of a deal so that you, my friends that are brand new, can go, I can do this. And I now have steps. How many people, guys, give me the, Kathy Young says, how do I find out if they are honest? Kathy, that's a good question. How do you find if anybody is honest? Right? I don't know. I mean, I think I've been surprised in my life where I've had a 10-year relationship with somebody and then they change overnight. I have had relationships where I've had business partners steal money from me and I thought they were the most honest people on the planet. I've had employees steal from me. So I don't know. To be honest with you, intuition, I have really good intuition, but you still are surprised from time to time, you know? Okay, so we'll go through a full entire workflow of buying a mobile home park, how many activities you need to go through to get to the next activity, to get to the point where you can get paid. And then we'll also break down, do I really even have to buy the park? Because some people in here don't want to buy a park. They want to just find a park, get paid in the process. Last week, I paid somebody a $90,000 finder's fee for bringing me an RV park. I do the same thing in mobile home parks as well. And so a lot of you guys just are like, I just want a finder's fee. I just want a finder's fee, right? How many people are like, give me a finder's fee, I'm good. Give me a yes if you just want a finder's fee on your first couple of deals. Cool. Life changes, therefore, then people change along the way, my friends who asked that question about trust. Okay, so while we are waiting for this broker call, I'm going to pause the side chat for just a minute, but I'm going to switch over to a different microphone. We're going to switch to a different screen, and I'm going to start building the flow of a deal. Okay, I'm going to start building the flow of a deal. Aileen says, what's the difference between a mobile home and an RV? Great question. Eileen, I think is the way you pronounce your name. The difference between an RV and a mobile home is an RV is a recreational vehicle. So I'll give you a good example. Manufactured homes is really what a mobile home is. Okay. Most people are not buying RVs to live in full time and leaving them there. That's not how that works. So manufactured homes is what a mobile home is. So let's Google that. Manufactured home. Let's go. Boom, boom. Images. Okay, cool. So here is what a good manufactured slash mobile home looks like. Okay. This is kind of the typical thing that what most people are talking about when they talk about mobile homes is this. Hold on a second. I got to do a little screen share for you. So this is mobile homes. Okay. These are mobile homes. They are brought in by a truck. They are not built on site. They are built in a factory and then they are shipped. Okay. Here you go. Here's one in a factory. They're being built in a factory and then they're shipped. In fact, one of the companies I use for mobile homes when we buy them, let's do Cavco manufactured homes and let's look at factory. Okay. They are built inside of a big, massive factory. Okay. And these manufactured homes are manufactured literally inside of a factory, and then they are brought across the country, the state, et cetera, and planted on your park if you buy that. Okay. And they don't always go on a foundation, just FYI. I got to pause the side chat. You guys are treating today like it's like the most crazy Q&A I've ever seen in my life. Hold on, guys. Chill out. Okay. So you look at mobile homes. That's a mobile home. Okay. RV. Let's look at RV park. These are literally recreational vehicles. This is an RV park where people are hauling their recreational vehicle around typically with their truck. Okay. This is an RV, recreational vehicle. Can I get a yes? We understand the difference between a mobile home and an RV now. Can I get a yes? Remember everybody? Cool. They both make a lot of money. They both make a lot of money. I prefer one of them for some reasons and one of them for other reasons. I like mobile home parks for the fact that these are more permanent residents. I really like RV parks because there's less to manage and there's no tenant relationship that's long-term. Hold on a second. I'm talking to this broker. Okay, cool. All right. So the reason I'm pausing for a second is because I'm trying to work a live broker call with a really established broker that's been in the business for a long time. And I want you guys to hear what that conversation looks like. I was introduced to this broker today from a student of mine, and the student doesn't know where to go and what to do. And so I thought today, why don't I just bring that live call to you guys today so you can hear it? And then secondarily, I'll walk through the flow of like, how did that call get made? Why is it coming to me? When should you bring somebody else in that's a little bit more advanced? What will happen after the call? What are the steps along the way that will help you get a deal done? Okay. So I'm going to switch over to a different microphone and go to my bigger whiteboard, and we'll switch camera. We'll switch microphone as well. Okay. All right. So I know you guys will be able to hear me just fine. I know the microphone's not quite as good. Give me a yes that you guys can hear me just fine. The microphone's not as good, so please don't tell me the microphone's not as good. I know it's a good microphone, but not as great as the other one. Okay, cool. So let's go through. I'm just going to wait for this broker to give me a call or shoot me a text back when we're available. And let's work through what I'm going to do in order for me to get a mobile home park, an RV park, or one of these things under contract. First thing I want you to remember is that you don't have to buy and own any of these things. Okay. First thing I want you to know is you don't have to buy and own any of these things. You can actually, number two is you can assign these. This is a stupid word. A lot of new people will never understand is this just means I can get a finder's fee. I found something. I get a finder's fee for bringing this to somebody like me. And the larger the asset, plus the larger the number, plus the larger the cash flow, and lower the cost to get into the deal equals the bigger fee, right? So for example, my friends in the side chat, everybody that came in to watch this live, would it be better for me to pay you guys more on a deal that I'm getting at 3% interest or a deal that I'm getting 0% interest? Which one would you get a better finder's fee on? 0% interest or 3% interest? Okay. So when people say, well, how do you determine it? Well, what's the value of the deal? Is it a good deal? Do I have to put a big down payment down? Do I have to go get a bank loan? Do I have to go do traditional financing on it? Or is there a zero down element? Can I get into the deal with no money out of my pocket? What is the situation? Okay. All of those types of things determine the deal. We're not going to cover that today. We'll cover that on Thursday, day number 4 of the training. How do you determine how much you get paid on these finder's fees? So let's just focus on how the heck do I get a finder's fee in the first place? How do I go find these deals? How many times do I do the activity along the way? All right. So first thing that you're going to want to know is you're going to want to know that you do not need to have these deals in your portfolio. Where are my people that just want to find deals and get paid a fee? Say finder in the side chat. I want to find deals and I want to get paid a fee. I'm not ready to own these things. Okay, cool. So your first step in all of this is you're going to want to find opportunities. Okay. An opportunity can be found. Let's go through. I'll give you guys a bunch of websites. You can find them on Crexy.com. You can find them on loopnet.com. You can, these are, by the way, on market. I'll give you guys things that are on the market. Creativelisting.com. You can find these deals on all sorts of websites. There's probably another 15 plus websites. You can just literally, also you'll find these, believe it or not, on Facebook Marketplace. You'll find these on Craigslist. Okay. And then there's also websites that are dedicated to just finding, Danny Menendez says off market. Wow. I got a really newbie audience here, like super newbie audience. This is great. I love this. I'll give you the answer to off market and on market. Okay. In just a minute, what does that mean? You know, what am I doing? What's the difference? All of that kind of stuff. So I will also show you guys, you're probably not quite ready. Okay. You're not quite ready for off market, but you are ready for on market. So I'll give you guys some good on market stuff and where to go. Here's another really great website that a lot of my students will use is Mobile Home Park Store. Mobile Home Park Store. Okay. And there's deals all over the country. You can see that there are currently right now for sale, a little over probably 130, 140 mobile home parks on this website right now. This is on market. Okay. What does on market mean? Let's touch on that for just a minute. What on market means is that there is a seller that is selling this thing. Here's the box is the thing that they're selling. So let's just call this a mobile home park or mobile home. And this is the seller. If it's on market, that means that there is a realtor or a broker in this situation. They don't like being called brokers when they're doing big deals. They like to be, they don't like being called realtors. They like to be called brokers. That means that the seller and the broker have signed an agreement called a listing agreement. That means that this seller says, hey, I want to sell and I want to sell so badly, I'm going to get into an agreement with you that allows you to go and sell this and put this on the market. Okay. So can I get a yes that everybody now understands what on market means? It's on market, meaning the seller has already indicated they want to sell. They not only have indicated they want to sell, they've actually signed a piece of paper to have a broker represent them. So the call that I'm about to make with this broker is a deal that is represented by a broker, which means is it off market or is it on market? Is it off market or is it on market? Okay. Cool. So it is on market. Yeah. So I want to teach you guys something. We're going to teach you a lot of basic stuff today. You will never call a broker that is doing commercial deals, so anything other than single family, you will never call them a real estate agent. They do not want to be called a real estate agent. Don't call them a realtor. Don't call them a licensed agent. Don't call them a real estate agent. They don't want to be called that. Okay. They want to be called a broker. Okay. Ashley Bolger says, hey, Pace, I'd like for you to deviate from what you're talking about. Can I just answer or do a question in the side chat? Is on Crexy, is there a cap rate you look for over others? I don't pay attention to the cap rate. Cap rates don't get deals done. I don't pay attention to the cap rate. I pay attention to the pain. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. Okay. Be patient. One of the reasons why you're struggling as a newbie is because you have zero patience and you bounce around all over the place and you can't learn something and focus on something for 45 minutes. I know the feeling. I've been there too. Okay, so off market means you are finding sellers that own the parks, but they are not actively selling the park, which means, are you calling the broker or are you calling the seller direct? You answer me in the side chat. If it's off market, meaning there's no broker representing it and selling it, who are you calling? There you go. You would never call a broker on an off market deal because they're not selling. The seller has not indicated that they are selling. It is 100% calling the owner directly. Now, the scripts are very different. Okay, I've got this broker. She's ready to chat. So let me switch back to my other mic and let me call this broker and we'll have a quick 5-minute conversation with her and then we'll go back into this.
Amy Barrett. Hello.
Hey, Amy, thanks for making the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I put Preston in my phone.
Oh, it's no worries. Don't worry about it. I got a weird name.
Well, not too weird.
Are you in Vegas for like an RV park or mobile home park convention or what's that all about?
Yeah, I'm here for MHI.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Okay, so I wanted to just introduce myself. I have people that bring me deals all the time. And these people that bring me deals all the time are rarely licensed, nor are they brokers, or I'm sorry, not brokers, but buyers themselves. And so what they do is they come to me and they go, "Would you be interested in this deal?" I go, "Yeah, but if you represent me, you're gonna look silly. You're gonna make me look silly, and I would like to look at the deal, but the deal and the broker and I need to have a conversation because I got to show a real proof of funds. I got to show that I actually know what I'm doing, and I need to introduce myself to the broker before I go and submit an offer. I don't want to be one of those people." And so I think the person that you talked to is a newer person that found me on social media. His name is Damon. Is that who you talked to?
Damon had called me when I think maybe when I landed yesterday or something. That's who I may have had a call scheduled with this afternoon also. So yes, his name is familiar. I know he was wanting to talk about the Tennessee parts, but that's all I know.
Yeah, so he sent me an email and I just said, "Hey, can I talk to the broker?" Because obviously he's a bird dog. He's trying to like send me stuff that he has no intention of buying. I'm perfectly fine paying him a finder's fee on my side, but I wanted to introduce myself because I would be the actual end buyer and send the LOI from my team. And then I saw who you were and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this woman probably has a dozen deals I could buy from her on a yearly basis." And so that's the main reason for me calling is just establish a bridge essentially and just say, or ask, do you have other things I can look at while me and my team are underwriting this Tennessee deal?
I mean, maybe, but probably not. I'm familiar a little bit about your reputation and creative financing and all these folks that follow you and submit these offers on our deals that just are maybe work for a very, very small percentage of owners, but typically not the ones we represent. So unless you have funds, that are ready and no, a traditional transaction per se. I mean, look, every deal is different. Everything's negotiable, but just everybody wants to get into this game with no money down, or, why don't you become minority in your own entity and we'll control the asset? All that kind of stuff is, pretty much has been off the table for all of our clients. So yeah, I mean, we have a revolving door of deals that we're underwriting. We do a lot of business. We have been in this, been in this a long time. Me only, 6 years as a broker, owned the park for 11 years. But Mike Nestle, I'm on his team. His parents and the family have owned parks since the 60s. Bill Holiday owns his own portfolio of Tampa Bay and Mississippi, and so we all have been around doing this for a long time. But I just think if you have an interest in any of our deals, feel free to make an offer if it's a deal that can be done. Otherwise, maybe not. But
I think the reputation thing is one of the reasons why I call. And what happens is I have a YouTube channel and a TV show on Disney. And so people find me and they know that I buy deals. So here's what they do. They go and they represent themselves to brokers saying that they're the buyer. I don't know them. Like Damon, I've never met him before in my life. And so what they'll do is they'll represent themselves as a buyer, or they'll even represent themselves as somebody who represents me, which then gives me a bad reputation when they don't follow through. So one of the things that
they send in offers saying they're using your capital partners, that these offers are just really not practical and much of a time waster for anybody. So I just assumed like you have this network of people working for you, because you're right, in the industry it does appear that way. And Devon did not say that. He did present himself as a buyer. He never brought up your name. He says, I'm going to ask my partner to get on the call with me this afternoon. And instead you called. So
yeah, so that's where like in January, I sat down with my team and I said, hey, in the mobile home park, I won't be the biggest RV park or mobile home park buyer, but we'll have, 30 RV parks by the end of the year and close to 60 mobile home parks by the end of the year. And so we're medium size, I'd say. And it's okay. Yeah. And we're long-term holders. And I'd say the majority of what we buy is on seller finance, but we do buy a lot of stuff with cash or even through our fund or syndication structure. So I raise capital. We've got 10 million in cash in the bank. That's our money, not a lender's money. And so we do use capital when it's appropriate. The problem is people watch me on YouTube, they pretend like they know me, and then they represent me incorrectly, and then I get a bad reputation. So one thing that we decided to do this year is anytime a deal is sent to me or my team, is that I would personally introduce myself to the broker so we could just bridge that conversation and go, hey, you can talk to my family office. We can show you our schedule of real estate owned. We can show you our bank account and have you talk to our banker so you can know that the cash is actually ours, not some lender or outside capital. And of course, probably every 3 years I'll put a fund together and I'll bring in outside capital, but that's not even typical either. We do that every couple of years. But the main purpose for the call is to get rid of that thought process so that when I do submit an offer, you go, okay, this is coming from somebody who does not assign deals. This comes from somebody that closes on deals. And this comes from somebody who has the capital and the ability to operate these deals that we sell, if that makes sense.
Well, talk to me about your capital and these funds or syndications. So, we've
my last your deal that I would do with you would be just cash that we have. And I would probably use either Five Star Bank, Marcus and Millichap for my first lien position. And then I would bring in my own capital for my down payment. I would not syndicate anything on mobile home parks or RV parks. The reason I brought up syndication is because every once in a while on larger multifamily deals that are 30 million plus, I will then syndicate on multifamily, but I'm not syndicating on any RV park or mobile home parks.
Well, I asked because there's a lot of new people getting into the industry, and that's great. But when they come in with offers and their capital is other people's money and they
can't perform.
They may can and they may not, but we don't trust it when we got, all these other reputable people at the table. But the problem of these guys is they don't raise their money until the end of due diligence, or they then they struggle and then they can't make it happen. But then also on the flip side, you go through 3 due diligence periods. You got your you got your operator, you got your syndicator operator, your investors, and then they're going to get financing. So it's like, and oftentimes it doesn't happen. But many of those guys are in trouble right now. They're not doing very well. They didn't do a very good job of improving revenue and the performance of the park and deliver the returns.
They were planning on
investors.
They were planning on deals to continue. They were planning on 2020 and 2022 to keep going, is what I think they were doing. And they were hoping I could buy a deal and exit in 3 when the market continues to go up, which is not what we do. But I'll give you a quick story to help you understand that I understand your pain. I had a deal in Montana. I buy in.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, just left this side.
Oh, no worries. So I have a deal in Montana that we just closed on a couple of days ago. I just sent you the link, and it was a deal I was working with a broker. Similar situation. First conversation we had with the broker, she says, "Hey, I've had other people say they represent you." I'm like, "They don't. They just found me on YouTube. I don't even know who these people are. I'm so sorry." And so she ended up going with a different offer. And I said, "Hey, I'm not even mad at that, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you who my bank is. I'm pre-qualified before I even go to the table. Here's my down payment, where it's coming from. And here's the other parks I own within 10 minutes of that existing park. And here's the name of my manager. Here's my team. Here's my website, all that kind of stuff." She takes an offer like $100,000 less than me. And then she comes back 3 months later and she goes, "They didn't perform." And I go, "Okay, no worries." And no worries. And we closed in 3 weeks. And so I think a conversation, maybe even with her, maybe when I go to a point where I'm sending over an LOI, before you go to your clients, I think a smart idea would be maybe call a couple of brokers I've recently performed with and ask, "Hey, how was the relationship? Did they close on time? How was this transaction coordination team? Did they get back to you when they said they were? Did he try and assign the deal or try and do something funky?" Which I don't. I'm a buyer. I'm not assigning or wholesaling at all. And of course, I buy deals from wholesalers. I will buy a deal from a wholesaler. The challenging thing on these larger assets is that they misrepresent both sides.
Yeah, they don't know anything about the deal.
No, and they should stay in single family where they're not going to make as many mistakes. But in the multifamily or RV park, mobile home park space, they make the broker look silly. They make me look silly. And so I just decided in January I would start making the call and say, "Hey, let's bridge the gap. I'm the buyer. Let me give you all my credentials. You can meet my team, talk to other brokers I've recently closed on, not a deal I closed 2 years ago, but like 3 days ago." Right. And so that was the main reason for my call.
Well, I mean, it is appreciated. I just assumed we would never do any business with you because of all of these offers. I mean, we get them every week from multiple people, and it's the craziest terms. And I keep saying, I don't know what's being taught to these people and why it's being taught, but they're wasting their time trying to find this needle in the haystack.
What they're doing is they're watching a 7-minute YouTube video from one YouTuber, and then they're watching another 15 from another one, and then they watch mine, and they go, "Oh, this guy's actually buying." And so what they do is they hear a story about a deal I bought from somebody else, where I go, "Hey, this person brought me the deal. They teed me up a conversation with the broker. I bought the deal. They got paid $20,000 finder's fee." I don't even tell them how to get a hold of me. They're like Googling my phone number. And so what
It's a composition.
I mean, I guess there's 2 sides to the same coin. The one side is that I'll buy 40 million in real estate this year from people I've never met before from my YouTube channel. And then the other bad side is that I have to kind of fight my reputation, which I don't have a bad reputation. If people don't like me, I've never done anything wrong. I think the reputation is people send us.
People creating your reputation. I don't know you. I've never had a conversation with you. I've never gone through a deal with you. So
of course,
it's your reputation is coming from other people. So,
but even then, like my reputation that I hear from other brokers is, you have people coming and submitting crazy offers to me. I'm like, okay, great, but I've never not performed. I've never done anything personally, so I'm okay with that floating out there.
yes.
And so the way I fix that is just making a phone call and introducing myself.
Yeah.
Are you guys primarily in RV parks or mobile home parks?
So our team, we service this asset class for Colliers nationally in parts of Canada. And our team, that's all we do is MHRV. There seems to be a little more opportunity in the RV just due to supply, and there's not a lot of MH supply. But this is all we do. We have an appraisal division, that does about 3,000 appraisals a year, just in the MH space, RV space. That's on our team. We cover the US. So yeah, it's all we do. I mean, that's
Are you
our specialty.
Are you representing any developers? Like, do you have any developers on your side that would buy raw land? I'm not currently developing, and I run into a lot of raw land I could just send through you.
You can't do that, because this is what I'm doing with the land piece for probably 24 months now, 18, 24 months. I'm just archiving all these land deals that come to me that people want me to take them to the market. Well, I'm not going to do that, because it's still not like, in the MH side, it just doesn't pencil out yet. Still, the cost of all the things, labor, money, time. And when these new developments, we got one in trouble right now. That's a really nice park that needs to do something. Top notch, 5-star park, RV. But you don't really start getting into the black and your P&Ls till like year 3 or 4. So you've got to be able to carry that long. But so to answer your question, development has been slow. I met with UMH briefly today, and we asked them if they'll look at development deals, because all these big private and institutional portfolio guys, they have talked to them. Oh, I bought 3 deals or 5 deals last year, because they're just sitting tight waiting for something. But I think developments should be happening, but it's not making sense for anybody yet.
Do you think it's because most of them are using debt structures that just don't pencil? Is that what it is?
I think it's a combination of everything. So yes, that
expensive products probably too, maybe long wait time, stuff like that.
Like long, if you've ever built anything or gone through construction, whatever timeline you decide it's going to be complete, you better pad that another 30%, 40% in time.
Right.
But also the cost of labor, the cost of materials, the tariffs, all this kind of stuff, which, everything seems to be available, but it's just the cost of ground up is, when this is what we're noticing, people are in their portfolios, instead of doing ground up, they're just focusing on their expansions and doing that.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. I've got like 5 parks in Big Spring, Texas, and this team, my team this year, we're like, let's just buy existing parks that are already cash flowing, and then let's spend our extra cash flow on expansion rather than doing any development. So we're just expanding and buying new units and tiny homes and doing all sorts of stuff. We're doing the same thing.
Yeah. That's still expensive and time consuming too, but like a whole full ground up, but no cash flow for a while, positively, it's tough. But I don't know. I hope I'm going to find out at this show this week if the temperature has changed with any.
Okay.
There's been one of the largest private owners in the U.S. for MH. Not too long ago, I had a conversation. They might consider start looking at land. To answer your question, I would just keep it warm and close.
Okay, so you're just on the land side. You're not going to do much on it for probably the next 18 to 24 months.
That's what I haven't been for the past 18, 24 months. I hope it's time that it comes back, but it just hasn't been worthy of spending time on, to be honest with you. And I keep telling everybody that calls me to sell it. I'm like, either develop it or hold, just sit tight.
What about that? What about that 5-star park you just said? Is that one that you guys were representing?
No.
You said it's a 5-star RV park that it needs to do something?
No, if we're going to take it, to be honest with you, it's, As
a listing, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know if we really want to work on it. I mean, we only represent owners, and we're not going to take these guys with unrealistic expectations, or they want to price their deal 30% over what it's worth. And, it's like, okay, you go hire somebody else, because we can't meet those expectations. And I think this is kind of one of those situations where it's, pretty difficult, and we're okay with solving problems and doing hard deals, but this one I'm not sure. I do have to see it through here shortly, but yeah.
Okay,
I'm
got
not
it.
too
Well,
excited
okay,
about it.
last two questions. So, you're doing deals in Canada as well?
We have been. We haven't this year. We closed, 86 part portfolio,
Holy
700,
moly.
740 million, and then we sold.
740 million?
Yeah, we did.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's
Tell me you freaking celebrated after that. That's awesome.
verified. And then, we sold one of Sun's portfolios up there, and that was sold, I think, for 91 million. So, I mean, we're in Canada, and then I sold a little deal up there, 200, little compared to those. It's still, a nice deal. 200 and, I think it was like 214, 230 spaces. And it was like a $8 million deal that I did up there last year. But this year so far, we've got, we've been in conversations, but I don't know what we'll do up there this year.
Okay.
Do you buy in Canada?
I'd like to. I don't own anything in Canada other than 3 single family properties, and I'd like to own some stuff in Canada. And so I saw an RV park about 3 months ago. I didn't move fast enough. We were in the process of buying 3 others, and I just didn't move. I thought, honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to move, and it moved really fast, and so we missed out on it. And so think of me on your next Canadian listing. The second question I have is on the mobile home and RV park space, this Tennessee deal.
Yeah.
I understand that you've got a lot of buyers that just want cash offers. Totally fine. I do a lot of cash deals too. This Tennessee park, what can you tell me about it? Catch me up to speed with it?
Yeah, so the seller, this is one of the first parts they bought when they got into MH. Now, since then, they've bought quite a few more in the Southeast. But they made the mistake, in this case, not always is this a mistake, but they had raised some money from quite a few investors.
Okay.
The whole, they did a really good job of CapEx improvements that made a difference. They rehabbed the homes. They got some rents increases. They paved the roads. Utilities are in good order. Like, just did everything right. There was just the only upside gain for this park is converting it to RTOs or just selling the homes for cash or whatever. There's not really much expansion opportunity.
Is the problem that their debt is coming due? Is that what's happening?
No, they refinance. So they refinance. So they will have to pay that off. The challenge is when you have this many partners in the deal, investors, some want their money back now, and they can't see the long game of how important it would be to stay.
Yeah.
And so rather than just continue disagreeing about that, they're just the main, the GP just let's just sell it, and then I won't make this mistake again. But they're good parks. I mean, they're older homes, a lot of single wides, a lot of majority park on homes. But they are motivated to sell for that reason, but they're not in a position of desperate. But there is no owner financing options. They have to pay this note off, and then they have to pay their investors back. So, yeah. So that's the deal net. But they, good people, good seller. The guy that runs the fund or the money. But yeah, I mean, feel free to make an offer. I think we've had a lot of action on it. We had it overpriced, and that was not my choice. But I said, okay, within so many days, then we don't have it sold. You got to agree to reduce it. So I think we're a little more where we're supposed to be on it.
Is that the 3.5 million?
Let me think about this.
The last time I looked at it was a $3.5 million deal.
I think we reduced it. I've got some. I think we reduced it to 3 point. I think we reduced it 100,000 possibly.
Okay.
Yeah. recently, but anyway, but we do have some offers on it, but some of these folks, I just don't know that they'll perform.
If
And
I submit a deal to you, or if I submit an LOI to you, what would make you happy of saying there's no way this guy's not going to perform? Give me a list of things that would make you feel good.
let's talk about,
Because an offer is just paper. Is it maybe a broker testimonial? Is it a broker phone call? Is it a proof of cash that I have in my bank? What would you say it is?
when we respond to your LOI, we're going to ask for all those things. We're not going to go to PSA with you until we see.
Oh, of course. I'm just saying before you
Yeah.
delete the LOI is what I'm asking.
Before I let it.
Before somebody would delete the LOI, like, oh, this is not even a serious LOI. You don't have any of.
Come in with a realistic due diligence, a realistic finance timeline. If you're getting financing, you have to put a realistic escrow deposit, and you actually go see the park, and you actually underwrite it, spend time on it, and you offer something that's acceptable to the owner. That's straightforward transaction, no owner financing, creative entity stuff, then, that's a fair offer for this deal.
Okay, got it.
I mean, nothing, it's just, traditional. You go find your money and we'll make the terms and do it. But
it sounds traditional.
Not up to me, it's up to the seller anyway,
Totally makes sense. The reason I ask is just because, you mentioned a thing about my reputation. I just want to make sure I over compensate for my reputation, if that makes sense.
I mean, look, I appreciate the call, and you didn't even have to explain. But we're just like, we see you're getting deals bought, but then we get all these other people that claim to be part of you, and I just can't figure it out, just
the bad part of having a YouTube channel is that kind of stuff, sadly.
Yeah, I hope you well, you know what, at the end of the day, you stay in your lane, do your thing, like screw what everybody else thinks, and perform, and you've got a goal, but some of these people do need to be corrected, throwing their name around like that. It's like,
yeah, I agree, and that's the reason why we're making all the calls.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I mean, it's nice to talk to you. Where are you based out of? Where's home for you?
I live in Scottsdale most of the year with my 4 kids, my wife, and then we live in Montana in the summertime. It's just too hot here. But I travel a lot. Like I've got 18 parks we just recently closed in the last 4 or 5 months. So I'll travel around and visit those parks. And then in that process of visiting the parks I just closed on, I'll swoop in, let's say, to Tennessee and look at a park like this. And so I'm around the country all the time.
Wow. Do you have, all right, so you're an RVer too?
No, I just fly. I'll just fly out there and like I'll bounce around for 3 or 4 days and then come home for a week, and then bounce around for 3 or 4 days, come home for a week. And I used to RV, but we are now full-time. I've got a big office with like 200 employees in Scottsdale, Arizona. And so I'm there at the office almost every day.
That's for the park business?
No, we've got a lending business. We've got a national title company. We've got a whole bunch of, vertical integrations. And so my real estate portfolio is managed by 25 people. And that's not just RV park. That's 1,500 multifamily doors, 300 single family stuff. It's a bunch of miscellaneous things.
Got it. So your portfolio is diverse.
Yeah, it's about 500. It's nothing like what you represent, but we've got about 500 million in assets, and they're all mine. I have one syndication I've done in 5 years, and it was one $20 million asset. So 480 million of that is all mine. 20 million of that I shared with some other people. And I don't think I'll do a syndication again. It's just too many people that slow everything down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's what I hear. I've never done it, but look, you have a very sizable portfolio, and you've worked very hard to get it. And we always, when we're doing business with people, like oftentimes we do business with the same people like for years and years. And we're not this broker that's gonna come to us with the part. Let's say you want to sell one, and you want, we underwrite it and we say, well, wait a minute, if you took 6 more months or 9 or 12 more months and you did this and this, then we could get this for the park. So just keep plugging, do this, and then let's get financials every month. And when you get to this point, let's make you another $1 million, you know? And so, because we've all entrepreneurial people on our team, we've all owned parts or still own parts. And, so it's, we're not, we just behave a little differently, I guess, for that. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say like about 40% of the parks we buy are from repeat brokers that we've performed on in the past. And I just, of course, I recognize the same thing you do, which is we have build a good relationship with a broker and they come across a listing. Here, I'll tell you what, I'm closing on a California park. I've never bought a California park before.
Oh, bye. Yeah.
But it's, RV park, mobile home park. I'm a lot happier to buy those in California than I am a single family house for obvious reasons. But we have a deal. We close in upstate New York, 220 acres, has an 18-hole golf course, cool park. We close on it. Broker loves us. We perform all the things. A week later, they call us up and go, you know what? You guys perform so fast. We have a deal that a buyer is failing on right now. Would you guys like to buy this deal? And so I don't want 40% of my deals coming from previous brokers. I want 90% of them coming from previous brokers. So a relationship with you, we might not do a deal in the Tennessee deal, but you'll see how I operate, how I submit offers. You'll see my team. Yeah. And I'm always a good backup offer for other people. And then every once in a while, you'll get a seller that says, I want to retire. I want to avoid a capital gains tax right out of the gate. And I'm willing to carry that for, like you said, 9 months, 12 months, 36 months, whatever. And we can do one out of 10 deals. We can do creative. 9 out of 10, we can do cash. Yeah.
And look, that happens. I just did one. I guess that was probably like November, a long time ago. In November, we did a deal where, they financed $3 million of the deal just for that reason to, spread out the tax hit. But I mean, send me an offer, look at our deals, call me on any of the deals. Let's have an open communication, open, business relationship. And, sorry if we paint you as being someone you're not, but that's just what we
You
do.
do not need to apologize. I knew what I signed up for when I started a YouTube channel. Don't worry about it.
I'm never going to do that now that I know that you're.
It's a nightmare. Don't do it. It's not, it's worth it for me because I buy a lot of deals because of it, but it also hurts my reputation and it's okay. And don't worry about it. I just wanted to connect with you. You're awesome. I'll shoot you an email with all the credentials and all the stuff when we submit an LOI in the next couple of days on this Tennessee park.
So just one quick thing. What's your deal size like on MH and RV?
We're trying to, the last couple of years, I was kind of averaging between 3 and 5 million. I'm trying to get away from those and start upgrading. I'm sure like a lot of your clients. And so we're in the $8 to $12 million park range is where we're trying to get to. Sadly, I still run into good deals. Like I got this Beargrass RV park I just bought 3 days ago. I think actually we closed on March 31st. I bought it for 3.2 million. And it's an easy park because it's closed 6 months out of the year. It's seasonal. It's right next to other parks. And so there's deals I'll buy at 3 million as long as they're close to other parks and my existing management can just take them over, if that makes sense. But I really want to be above $8 to $10 million purchase price.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll look at your website and look at where your deals are. And we'll just how we operate. Okay. Sweet. Like when we bring in new deals, we're not going to go take it to our 3 favorite people and say, here's the deal. We do the fair thing and put it out there openly. And, oftentimes we don't even do a call for offers. I don't really like doing that, but sometimes we have to if we get so many. But, just so if you're in our database and you get those emails, then you have the first chance, just like everybody else, to underwrite the deal and get on it.
Yep. I will never.
If you call me like monthly and say what you got coming up, then I can prep you, plan a fee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will never ask you to give me preferential treatment. I want my LOI to speak for itself and I want you to get paid what you deserve. I want your client to get what they deserve. And if I'm the right buyer, I'm the right buyer. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, that's right. It either works or it don't. And if it don't, then there'll always be another one. So,
perfect.
All right. So I'm about to go down to some meetings and see what I can learn from everybody else.
Thank you. You're amazing. Appreciate you.
Okay. All right, Jay. See ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, so that's a masterclass of a sales call. Sadly, I get a lot of YouTube people. I want to let's lay out a couple of things here today. Number one, this is not a private SubTo or any of my community training. So if you guys are in SubTo and you're like, man, the chat is wild, this is a lot of newbies in here. It's because this is a free training to people in the free Facebook group and YouTube. Okay. If you thought this was a private Zoom, you were wrong. Okay. So you are going to see a lot of people have no idea what they're talking about in the side chat. And they're going to say stuff like, move on, next. I would have hung up on this lady a long time ago. Well, that's why you're poor. And that's why you need to maybe watch the training. And that's maybe why you should stick around and actually learn a couple of things instead of saying some stupid stuff like, I would have hung up on her. Why would I hang up on somebody? Like if I'm offended by somebody saying, oh, well, your reputation is that people submit crazy lowball or not lowball, but crazy creative finance offers. That's the greatest reputation on the planet, first and foremost, that I have an entire world of people that are going and submitting creative offers. That's a great thing. So I'm going to choose to not be offended. That is up to you. I think people that grew up in a poor environment, everybody upsets them. I remember like going to my friends' houses that lived in poor neighborhoods, and I would watch these neighbors they lived next to are like, what'd you say? What'd you say? You disrespect me? I'm like, bro, rich people don't act like that, right? Rich of mind, maybe not rich of bank, but rich of mind. I want to be rich of mind. I never want to be offended. And you saw how I handled that. And I explained to her like, well, this is what happens. And here's this. And I totally understand. Because the reality is, guys, is I know who I am. I know what value I bring to the world. I close, I perform, I buy deals, and she needs me, but I'm not going to tell her that. I'm going to say, yeah, I understand that, because that conversation was not a manipulation. It was not a sales tactic. It was not a sales strategy. It's how you should handle every single call. Be patient. Listen more than you speak. And a lot of new people have no idea that every time she says a word to me, I get to gather information. So where does my script come from? My script comes from letting her speak. So when you new people go, what's the script? Well, you're going to learn a lot today. We've got another 2 hours to hang out with you guys. But you need to understand that the script comes from the prospect. The script comes from the prospect. Could I have followed a script on that conversation? Yes or no? Could I have followed a script on that conversation? Yes or no? No, I could not have followed a script, right? Now, that is a masterclass for a lot of things. She said a lot of fast words. She confused a lot of people. And so here's what I would tell you when you're brand new on these larger assets, okay? You're brand new and that call intimidated you. Give me a yes that that call would intimidate you. There's no way that you would be able to handle that call. Say no in the side chat. No. Okay. Okay. 30. I love how 960 people are in here and 47 people said no. Literally 1/20th of people actually interact in the side chat. So funny. You guys come to a live training. You can't even type in the side chat. I love it. Okay. So, if you're new, you should look at that call and say, there's no way I could handle that, which is why people come to me. You guys want to know what my reputation is? Here's my reputation. I'm willing to work with new people. That's my reputation. And what happens is because this new person brings me a broker and this broker is interacting with this new person, and a lot of times the new person goes too deep, too fast and says, my partner, my this, that, and the other. These brokers then think I'm the problem. The reality is, guys, I love my reputation. My reputation is I help new people when everybody else doesn't want to. I am the solution to new people. I love new people. I was a new person, and I love helping people get through that. The reality is they want to be an elite class of people saying, well, if you don't have, here's what she said to me, okay? I wrote these things down because you need to hear them. I want a straightforward offer. I want you to come and see the park. I want you to have a reasonable escrow due diligence. I want a sizable earnest money deposit. I want to see who your financing is coming from, cash it in the bank, and I don't want any funny entity structures. How many new people have the ability to do that? And how do you get to the point where you can do that? Here's how you get to the point where you can do that. Here's how you get to that point. You slave away for 40 years and you get into your 60s by saving and saving and saving and saving to buy your first park. Then you slave away at that park to then save up enough money to buy a second park. Then you can finally have that conversation with that person. Do we agree that that's what it would take in order for you to have the credibility to overcome her objections or her challenges that she's throwing in your way? Come on, you guys, that's what it would take. Do we agree? Or somebody like me can take the burden of working with new people and say, I will be that person. And if that means that sometimes that these people are going to give me a bad reputation, so be it. That's the cross that I decide to bear. So these new people, a lot of times will go too far too fast. And what I mean by that is instead of just calling this broker and saying, hi, I'm new and I'm looking for deals for real estate investors. Would you be open to a conversation and setting up an appointment? What do these new people do? They lie. And they say stuff like, I'm the buyer. And so what happens is they say, I'm the buyer, and then they submit offers they say, oh, this is a creative finance offer. I learned it from Pace Morby, or he's my business partner, etc. Okay. So what happens is you guys need to understand I'm willing to actually help people that are new. And with that, I get a bad reputation. That's where my bad reputation comes from. Did she say that I don't perform? Did she say I screw people? No, she says we get a lot of offers and they're people that pretend to be you, and they're not. Every single time that I talk to a broker, they tell me a name and I go, I don't know who that person is. It's somebody that watched it on my YouTube channel. Okay, so how about this? How about I make everybody happy and I just stop teaching people on the YouTube channel? Is that what I should do to solve that problem? The reality is I'm further ahead than 99.99999% of the planet. I think I am doing a thing or two correctly. I think that I am heading down the right path. And so when somebody has open criticism of, well, maybe you shouldn't be helping so many people on YouTube. Guys, when you work inside of my private community and you are actually in my private community, you're trained properly on how to submit offers in the appropriate way. You are trained on the actual scripting of how to set the appointment with me. And you are never saying, I'm your partner. You are never saying you're my partner when you are not my partner yet. What you say is, I'm new to real estate and I'm learning a thing or two, and I'm looking for deals for somebody who has X amount of properties in their portfolio. Would you be open to a conversation? That is the way it's supposed to be done. The problem is people on YouTube don't have access to me. And so what they do is they go, I want to use Pace in his scripts and what he does. So I'm going to pretend like I know Pace and I'm going to say that I am Pace's partner. And so anytime somebody says, this is my partner or Pace is my partner, I already know it's not one of my students. I already know it's not. Okay. So Danny Menendez says, this is exactly what I keep getting. Even on Rexy, even when I'm not looking for Pace, instead of I feel like you sold. Okay, that's so funny. Danny Menendez, this is funny. Also, I think that you guys also need to understand that there is a whole entire bunch of people that you could call. You don't have to call on market. A lot of my students have learned how to call off market. Danny, how you doing, man? Danny Menendez, how you doing? How can I help you today?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, yeah. Help me understand what you're trying to say.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's exactly what she was saying is exactly what I get when I try to call it, whether it's Crexy, um, I mainly for RV parks. I've also been doing some self storage, and I've only
Yep.
been part of your group for a month and a week, but I never say, oh, I'm buying for Pace or I'm buying for Basan or I'm buying for such and such. I just I'm looking to see. And I tell them sometimes, listen, I'm new to this. I'm just trying to inquire. Is the park available? Yes, no. What's the reason that they're selling? So I try to get the whole pain aspect out of it. Um, but I've never even thrown a name out for who the buyer is. I just try to get their information. But when I do mention, is by any chance is the owner open to seller financing or creative financing? Um, I've gotten several times, not majority of the times, but I've gotten several times where they say, "Are you part of the Pace Morby? Are you,
Yeah,
we don't
you've
want
had
to."
it a few times, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and
The
this was
majority
good.
of the time you will not have that. The vast majority of time you will not have that, but you will have it. And I run into it as well, where they go, "Is this like even her?" Right? She says, "What's your name? What do you think I'm going to do? Lie to her? I'm going to say I'm Pace Morby." She almost didn't want to get on the call with me.
Yeah.
But what was I, a little bitch and got offended by what she said, or did I handle the call in a way that I will have probably a 20-year relationship with this woman? What do you think will happen at the end of that relationship?
No, I think you handled it perfectly. I mean,
I
the thing
handled
is,
it the
you
way
also
that
have
everybody should, right? So when you
correct.
guys make 10 calls, here's what happens, okay? New people over exaggerate everything. When you say, here, I'll give you a couple of things, and this will help all of you guys. You'll think that this is not part of the training, but it is. Here's a couple of the things that new people lie about. They say, "I've been trying to get a deal." No, the lie is that you've done anything. You've not, this is usually YouTube people that are just stuck on YouTube. "I've been trying to get a deal." No, when you actually like fly to these people's houses, Danny, I don't know how long you've followed me, but if you followed me for 6, 7 years, you'll see that I'll pull people out of YouTube. Like I'll see a YouTube comment. It's like, "Oh, I've been trying for 5 years to get a deal." And I will I'll make a YouTube video of me jumping on a plane, flying to this person's house, knocking the door and saying, "Let's go get a deal." And in less than 3 hours, they've got a deal. Why? Because the lie is that they've never done any actual work. They just watch YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video. And in order to justify that to their spouse, they have to tell their spouse, "I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying." That's a lie. Another lie is, "I've made thousands of calls." This is another lie that new people tell themselves. "I've made thousands of calls." Meanwhile, they've maybe made 3 or 4. Two of them didn't answer. Two of them said no, and they stopped. And they're like, "I've made so many calls, Pace, you don't understand." And I go, "Show me." And it's 4 calls. Another lie that you'll hear a lot of times is people will go, "Man, every single person I call is not interested in selling." That's physically impossible, especially when they're on Crexy. They're literally trying to sell the park. That's impossible. And so you get these exaggerations, right? New people their ego wants them to justify their current state of being, which is, you need to tell the world that it's way harder on you right now than it actually is, so it can justify the current state of your being. "I've been trying so hard. This has happened 20,000 times." How many people are guilty of this? Give me a guilty. I'm guilty of this too in my previous life, and I try and solve this about myself. This is you guys should all say, "Yes, I'm guilty." We're all guilty of this. This is a human thing. Another thing you'll get is, "Man, most of the people I talk to say this." And then meanwhile, it's 2 people or 3 people. Or it's the same brokers at the same brokerage that have the same belief. And then I make a call for a SubTo member the next day, and the person has no idea who I am. I get the deal under contract on a seller finance deal, and everybody else on the Zoom is like, "Wait, I thought the person before it says everybody they call," right? It's obviously not everybody. It's the vast majority of people don't know who I am. There's over 100,000 realtors, there's 100,000 brokers that do mobile home parks and RV parks. Less than 1,000 of them know who I am. 99% of them have no idea who I am. And the creative finance side, what's ironic is this. Here's the thing that you guys need to understand. What did she say at the very beginning? Did she say they do creative finance deals or not? They do not do creative finance deals. Danny, what do you remember at the beginning?
I believe she said they do not.
They specifically told me, "We are not a good fit for you. We do not do creative finance deals." That's that and the other. What did she say at the very end?
I don't recall what she said at the very end.
Okay, she said at the very end, "I just did a deal in November that my seller carried a $3 million note," didn't she? How many people heard
Yes.
that?
Yep.
So isn't there a lesson in there for all newbies? That you need to understand sales. You need to understand dating. You need to understand making friends. Does everybody just lay everything out on the table right when you first meet them? When you're first dating somebody, do they just tell you everything about what's gone in their previous life? Are they trying to put their best foot forward? Or more importantly, they want to guard themselves from judgment from you? So think about this, my friend. Let's spin the narrative, Danny. Let me teach you how to spin narrative and change your paradigm just a little bit. And I don't know that you need this, but I think it's helpful for other
Oh
people.
yeah, I probably do.
If you have a single complaint in your life, you are a bitch.
Oh yeah.
All of us. We live in a life where I could have ice in this cup for 14 days and the ice will still be here. Yet I'll still find a reason to complain today. I'll be able to go to the gas station, get any food I want at any time. I'll be able to get access to any information I want at any time. I can go to a doctor and solve a problem that people 50 years ago didn't even know that there was technology that would ever exist to solve this problem. Do we all agree that we are completely overly spoiled in every aspect of our lives? And so what happens is, this is a funny meme that I saw. Somebody had a video, and this is important for sales. This is important for doing deals. So for some of you guys that can't stick around and watch this, you're going to miss out on life. You are going to miss out on life because you are so effing weak. I'm the same way. I've had to grow a callus muscle, right? I had to make myself a little bit more callous. There was a meme, there was a video of somebody that was like, here's your grandfather on a random Tuesday, or your great grandparents on a random Tuesday. It's a guy like chopping people down in war, like battling across the United States to like put a stake in the ground to like build a house for you to be like a great, great, great grandson. And we're sitting here complaining that somebody's like, they didn't want creative finance, right? People that have a complaint at anything in their life are childish, squibbling little children. My children are healthy. I'm healthy. I had food today. Is there a point in somewhere in the planet right now that somebody didn't get food today? Is there a point right now that somebody is on their hands and knees praying to God and saying, please send somebody to help me? Is there something like that happening right now? Did you know 140,000 people will die today? Yet I'm upset because somebody said they won't accept creative finance. Like, change the paradigm. Change the paradigm.
100%.
Now, what have we learned in that call? One of the most important things you could learn in the call is this. Agents who are intimidated by people like me will prevent themselves from getting into a tussle with me. What do I mean by that? When real estate agents don't understand creative finance, the first thing they do is say, my client will not accept creative finance, and I don't know why you keep submitting these offers. You have to understand what they're really saying, my friends.
That they don't understand creative finance.
There we go. There we go. How many times have I said this out loud? About 1,000 times. They don't understand how their commission's going to get paid. They don't know how to articulate themselves. You can tell this lady is incredibly intelligent. She's freaking awesome. I look forward to doing 50 deals with her. I let my credibility speak for myself, my patience speak for myself. And at the end of the call, she was apologizing to me. Not that she needed to, but she was. But a new poor-minded person will go, wah, they said no creative finance. Then at the end, what did she want to do? Brag about a creative finance deal that they just did. How crazy is that happened on the same 32-minute call?
So true.
Think about this, my friend. When somebody says they don't want to do something in creative finance, I can either be a squibbling little bitch. Sorry for cussing. I know it's Tuesday. Some of you guys don't like cussing on Tuesdays. I could either be a squibbling little complainer, or I could say, ooh, this is great. Only the smart, patient, really caring people will get past that objection. And gosh dang it, Pace just showed me how to do it. Pace just showed me how to spin a broker all the way to the other side and apologize and then brag to him about doing a creative finance deal. Holy crap, that guy just gave me a $100,000 masterclass. And now, if you're smart, you will pray to God that the other 100,000 brokers also start saying, I don't want creative finance deals, because what it will do is push all the YouTube newbies away from ever being able to do a deal with them. And it leaves you the ability to cross that moat by watching what I just gave you on a 32-minute masterclass.
You actually mentioned that in Squad Up about people that brokers or whoever says that they don't do creative financing. And you actually said that's because they don't understand it. So you kind of turn it on them. Which I think is great.
Look, the reality is I want to educate everybody. I think that the world, it's a net positive. If everybody knows creative finance, it would be amazing. And she admitted, she says, no, she says at the very beginning, I got to go back and do a breakdown of that call. By the way, if anybody knows this broker, She's awesome. I'm impressed by her. She was not a bitch. She was overly professional. She was incredible. 10 out of 10. I look forward to doing deals with her. I have no criticism at all about her. So let's remove her from this conversation, but let's remind ourselves that this is the greatest opportunity in real estate. She just admitted that she did a deal in November because a seller did not want to pay tax, and he was willing to seller finance $3 million purchase, so he avoided tax. And I bet you she did not quarterback that transaction. I bet she was so she's not the main broker. She's on a team. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. She's not the main person. She's a team support. Did everybody pick that up? Okay. So you have to understand, somebody else ran that transaction. She watched it from the side angle. And she was like, oh yeah, you're right. Pace just brought up tax benefits. I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, which she does. She's highly intelligent. No criticism again. But she obviously doesn't know creative finance. Can we all at least agree with that? She's got a seller right now that she just reduced their price $100,000. So how will I get that deal done? I will get that deal done incredibly easy. So you're willing so tell me this, Mr. Real Estate agents in the side chat and brokers, you're more willing to lower your seller's purchase price $100,000 than to just join my community for 1/10 the price and learn how to do this the right way? Want to know why? Because it's not their money. They're willing to reduce their seller's purchase price and say, well, the market is, the market is, the market is, the market is. Why would you not want to learn creative finance? Why would you not want to get your seller top dollar? Why would you not want, and that's the thing is, do you think that that's what she's thinking? Do you think she's thinking, oh, I don't want to help my seller, so I'll reduce my 100,000? No. The problem is she has a limited perspective. She's doing 100% an ethical business at a 10 out of 10 based on what she knows about real estate. She's a great person. And so if my job is I get to educate people in a loving, genuine way, and I get to save their seller from reducing price, the broker makes more money, and in the process, I get to avoid the bank, and all I have to do is learn how to educate people. Are you kidding me? Did God want to bless me even more? What a great blessing that is. Pace, what do you do for a living? I educate people on how to make more money, and I execute and I buy assets from them with no bank, and I make a lot of money in the process. Wait, you don't sit in a
exactly
cubicle?
Why I joined.
There
This is
you go, guys.
exactly the reason that I joined.
Does this help change the paradigm just a little bit for people that they have a tendency to complain about stupid things? Ask yourself the question, what has to be true for that to be the best thing that happened to me today? What has to be true for that call and the opening of, I know who you are, you have a reputation. What has to be true for that to be the best thing that happened to me today? And guess what? I thought that in my mind and I wrote it down on the table right here. I write all my notes on my table. I wrote down the exact answer to the question of what has to be true to make this the best call of my day. And I made it happen. And for the people in the side chat, like, I would have hung up on her. That's why you're poor. And that's why you're on my YouTube channel, not in my community, actually learning and moving forward. Sorry to criticize you. Oh my gosh, Pace wants to sell a course. I don't want to sell a course. I want to filter out people that don't want to take life seriously. Sorry.
I agree. If you hang up on people every time they get upset with you, you're never going to get anywhere.
You're not. And the reality is, if you keep getting hung up on, what does that tell you? Here's what it tells you. It tells you that you're not learning anything and you're looking for the low-hanging fruit. Guys, the low-hanging fruit's already been picked. I want to stand taller in order to reach a little higher into the fruit tree to get the deals that are a little bit higher to get to. Pace, how do I climb a little higher to get that fruit? It's called books, knowledge. Stand on the knowledge that you gain. Every time I get a little sliver information, I put it underneath myself and I stand a little taller. I get a little bit more, I stand a little bit taller, and I can reach the fruit that nobody else can reach. And before long, people are going to come to your tree. Here's what's going to happen. This is what's happened to me. I want you guys to understand this, and I hope this is a good paradigm shift for some people. And you're thinking, oh, this has nothing to do with creative finance. It has everything to do with creative finance. Everything to do with creative finance. Everything to do with educating brokers. Everything to making it about. Do I go for apartment buildings? Adam zapping. For the people that are newer to me, I have $400 million in apartment buildings. I have $100 million in RV parks. I have $50 million in mobile home parks. I have 300 single family homes. I have businesses I bought with Creative Finance. Guys, I have hundreds of millions of dollars of assets. I buy everything with Creative Finance, storage facilities, Airbnbs, everything that you want to do. I've done it. I've made a YouTube video about it. The answer is yes, I do. Everything I'm teaching you today is applicable to everything you want to do. Yes, Dennis Bell says yes, even airplanes. I've bought airplanes, my personal home, ranches, are like everything you can imagine. Okay. I'm in the process of buying a landscape company the exact same way. Yes, I have a restaurant. You guys want to see my new restaurant? We just got it up and going. I'll show you my little restaurant. Restaurants suck, but yes, we own a restaurant. Yes, yes, yes. The answer is yes. Let me pull it up. I just got the photo from the team today. If I can, there it is. This is our new dining room. It's a cute little restaurant, just prints money. It's a little diner in a little town. So yes, guys, everything I'm teaching you can be done on every asset class. Let me ask you guys a question. Can I do this on any asset class on the planet? Yes or no? Can I do this on any asset class in the planet? Okay, cool. Here's our cute little restaurant. So yes, this is in New York. Cool, love it. So here's the analogy I want you guys to think about for a second. So you've got this tree, right? Cool. And this tree obviously has leaves on it. And this tree has oranges on it, has oranges all over this tree. So let me ask you guys a question. If I'm a new person, here's what I expect. I'm a new person. I expect I'm just going to go and grab stuff right off the orange tree. Well, guys, do we agree that like all the low-hanging fruit should be gone? It should be gone, right? It should be gone. So here's what I've done. I've learned how to educate myself and get better at what I do. So here I am on a ladder of education. I learned sales. I practice my calls, and this ladder continues to get me higher and higher and higher and higher. Before long, here's what ends up happening. The people that are new, that are like, I don't want to pull any orange trees, or I don't want to pull any oranges, they just walk over to you and they go, can you just sell me a deal? Can I just invest in your deal? Right? And you become the unfair advantage for other people. Okay. So this is a good sneak peek into understanding what it looks like to just climb the ladder. And so what you can do is you can complain, oh my gosh, this person told me they want to create a finance. How many times have I shown you guys in the private SubTo community and on YouTube? I've given you guys like maybe 1% of all the calls I make. How many times have I shown you I've never had a bad call? Never. Has anybody ever seen a live call where it's been bad? Even somebody opens up the call and she doesn't attack me negatively, but she came after me and said, you have a reputation. And she was very standoffish. At the end of the 32-minute call, do you know how much time I promised her I'd be on the call? I promised her, I said, just give me 4 to 5 minutes and I will make it really, really fast. Okay. She says, I'll make 5 minutes. ... She already did not want to be on the call with me. So you guys are over there being fearful and you think everybody's just going to lay everything in your lap. Pray to God for opportunities that on the other side of a challenge, there are millions of dollars, and pray to God that there's a challenge on the front end, not only to make you stronger, to make you more skillful, but also to prevent the losers from ever being successful. I want opportunities that are hard on the front end because I want the losers that give up to be pushed out. The reality is the higher you climb, the less competition there is. In fact, you climb so high that all the people that you would think you're going to compete with, they just want to be your friend because there's nobody left. That's what I've learned in the last 10 years. All the people that climb to the top, they're just like, I don't want to compete. Dude, there's nobody to compete with. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. And was that a good call for everybody to get to see how that works? Now I'll walk through. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may, before I hang up, I really hope when you go to, I think it's somewhere in California, you're going to have your RV thing with that with that person,
Yeah.
I really hope I can make a deal with you then.
That'd be great.
It
Why
was
not, why not
that
make a
was
deal with me
that was
before
such
then?
an amazing phone call. I really learned so much from that. Thank you.
Alex Ramosi said something that just, man, it stuck with me so hard. That dude is such a genius, but I take what takes me 500 words to say, he can say in 4.5, right? He's just a freaking genius. So he says on a podcast, and then he sends me the podcast and he's like, hey, what do you think about that? I'm like, bro, he says, if we were going to make a superhuman, right? You and I were, let's say, Danny, you and I were going to go make a superhuman. Would we put them through easy things or hard things?
Hard things. It's the only way you learn.
Like, think about that. Do I want my children to have an easy life? That's the problem with getting rich. You go, I want my kids to have things that I didn't have. No, teach your children how to get things that you didn't have access to, not give them things you didn't have. And so you have to understand, do I want to go through easy things all day long? All I want to know is there a way to be successful in this path? Is there a guaranteed way to be successful down this path that I'm running? And is this path I'm running down so guaranteed that not only is it guaranteed to be successful, it's also guaranteed that I will never want another path because the fruits of my labor are so great that there's nothing else in 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years that I will ever want to do. And my friends, that's what I found. There's not a single thing in the last 20 years of being an entrepreneur. There's not one thing. I've talked to everybody. I pay for mentorships. I join masterminds and I watch everybody else's businesses. And I'm like, bleh, bleh. You want me to do e-com? You want me to sell paint? You want me to sell soap? You want me to, bleh. I am in a business that helps sellers retire, brokers pay their bills, my team pay their bills by providing a product like an RV park or a mobile home park that solves affordable housing. Thank God I have this opportunity. There's not a greater business on the planet. Period. End of story. And so when you choose to go down this path, understand it is a guarantee to be successful, which I will talk about. How do I do this and how many times do I do this? It is a guarantee to be successful. It is also a guarantee that there is not a single business on the planet Earth that is better than providing affordable housing, period. Okay. Cynthia wants to, so Cynthia, can we agree? Like, hey, look, guys, let me teach you like how weird people can be. And Cynthia, I want to give you a hug, but I want to just talk about how weird this is. Cynthia says, people need both hard and easy times. You need a challenge, but you need to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor too. You can't work hard without the means to support yourself. Obviously, what I'm saying is not anything contradictory to what you're saying. This is not a thing of like, you're right, I'm wrong. But do we agree that when I go out to battle, right? I leave my wife and my kids at my house. I go out for the day. When I go out for the day, I am not looking for an easy time. I am looking to get better. I'm looking for an opportunity that is challenging enough to keep all the losers out of it. I want things to have a reasonable amount of challenge that weed the not serious out. It would not be a good opportunity if that was not the case. That is my point. Do we all agree with this? Now, you are correct. I have an easy time. It's called the house I live in and the car I drive and the money that's in the bank and the security and the team that I have. Those things are my good times. When I come home at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm done for the day. That's a good time. I get to enjoy my weekends, right? That's a good time. I get to go to Disneyland without worrying about money. That's a good time. But in order for me to deserve that, I had to go through hard times. Period. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Tyler Hart is saying the same thing I just said 4 minutes ago. Hermosi said, if you were going to build a superhuman, would you put them through easy things or would you put them through hard things? If you wanted a sales guy to be the best salesperson on the planet, would you give them agents that are just laydowns Or would you give them agents that are like, no, I don't understand creative finance, so I'm going to make you feel like you're doing something wrong? Have you guys ever heard I didn't know what this was until about 3 years ago. Did you guys ever know the word gaslighting? Everybody know the word gaslighting means? I didn't know what it was until 3 years ago. I know it's stupid, but I didn't know. So gaslighting is when somebody convinces you of something that is not true, right? And making you go crazy. Okay. So when an agent tells you that they don't do creative finance and I don't know why you guys send me these creative finance deals. Meanwhile, did you know that this year my SubTo community will buy close to 1,000 RV parks? And over 800 of those are creative finance. So over 80%. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about who's right and who's wrong here for a second. Let's be clear here, okay? And it's not just RV parks, it's mobile home parks as well, but let's talk about this for a minute. If there are only 22,000 RV parks in the country and my students will buy 1,000 of them, that is like 4.5% of the entire RV park industry will be gobbled up by my students this year. Out of those, 800 plus of those will be creative finance. And out of the 200 that are not, my students will still raise capital from other people like PMLs and still have no money out of pocket. Okay, cool. So then when you run into a couple of brokers, 3 or 4 or 5 brokers that don't like the fact that we are gobbling up deals like this, would you, if you're a broker and you're watching my student base go and gobble up the entire industry, are you going to be super ecstatic about that? Yes or no? Understand why people are doing and saying what they're saying, and you have all the control. Okay? And so I can choose to be offended. And also, here's something else is I want you to remember this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, which means if I just sat there and tried to convince every broker that they're wrong, did I try to convince her she's wrong? Do you guys remember in any part of that conversation, I said, well, you're wrong, and my students are buying so many creative finance deals. Did I try and get one up on her? Did I act like a poor, broke person from a poor neighborhood? No, I came from a poor neighborhood. I grew up in a poor family, but I'm not going to act like that. I'm not going to be like, yo, you offended me. How dare you? I could have done that easily. And I would be justified and be like, hey, no offense to you, Miss Agent, but you don't know me. We've never talked. Could I not have gone down that route justifiably? Could I have? Yes, I absolutely could have. But again, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And did I actually educate her on anything? Yes or no? Did I educate her on anything? Did I teach her anything? No, like me personally trying to teach her, here's something you should know. Did I do any of that? Yes or no? Yvette, she says yes. Did she learn stuff? Yes. Did I teach it purposely, trying to educate her so that she felt educated? Yes or no? No, I did not. She learned that I am not hostile. She learned that I am a collaborator. She learned that I'm complimentary. She learned I'm a resource to her. She learned that I can perform. She learned that she can say things rude to me and I don't have a defensive bone in my body. Right? My friends, if you did not get a $10,000 piece of value from that one call, I don't know what you were paying attention to. So let's talk about what I'm going to do with that call. Okay. Did everybody feel like you got a lot of value just from that call? And also unpacking the call. I think staying on here for 30, 40 minutes on unpacking the call is actually more valuable than the call itself. What was I thinking? Why would I not be that way? Why would I not try and educate her and school her and defend myself and do all these things that a poor-minded person would do? Okay.
That
Cool.
call was more valuable than creative financing.
You're right. And look, I get a lot of people that are like, I joined SubTo to learn creative finance from you, Pace, but I actually learned how to live my life a lot better, like better husband, better father, better everything. I'm better in my other businesses. I'm better at my job. I'm better at saving my money. Like, you've amplified everything. Guys, I just want you to be better. I want us to be better. I want more brokers to do more deals with us. However, I am unapologetic about the speed in which I operate, because if I waited for brokers, that's a difference. Being patient with brokers and loving them and respecting them is one thing, but waiting for them is a completely other. I'm not going to wait around for somebody who doesn't have their own portfolio to tell me what I should and should not offer on a deal. Make sense? Let me ask you a question. Would you take advice from a child therapist that has no children? Would you take advice from a marriage counselor that's never been married? Or better yet, would you take advice from a marriage counselor that's been married 17 times? Okay. So you have to understand the reason. You guys have to understand this. Please understand this. This is going to hurt some people's feelings. And if somebody's watching this later, they're going to be like, this is why people hate Pace. If you are a real estate agent, it's because you have not become a successful investor yet. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I am so excited to go sell other people's real estate today. I am so excited to field phone calls and do that. That's not what people do. Sorry. My wife loves certain aspects of it. She is a licensed agent. And she was a top 1%er in Arizona. But the reality is, when somebody says, I've been a broker for 30 years, I go, so what's kept you from investing in real estate yourself? If the true top of the pyramid is the investor and everybody else works for the investor, what has kept the 30-year broker from becoming the investor? It's that they don't know what you know. And they don't have the same risk tolerance or desire that you have. Now, it doesn't mean their job isn't valid and they're not amazing and they're not important to the equation. They are. But I need you to understand, I'm not going to slow down and stop because a broker who doesn't own their own mobile home parks and RV parks tells me that creative finance is not happening. Meanwhile, 1,000 of my students are going to, I will only buy 30 RV parks this year, 30. I will buy 30 RV parks. There are massive RV park investors that don't own 10. I will buy 30 this year. Is that a braggadocious thing? No. It just tells you that even out of my students, I'm only buying 3% of what my student base will buy. They will buy 970 deals without me involved. Okay. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because when somebody who is not who you want to be tells you how to operate, you should have zero wait time for that person, right? It's like if somebody tries to give you advice based on raising children that's never had children before, it's probably somebody that you could purposely ignore without telling them that you're ignoring them. Can I get a yes? We understand this. If you have an agent or a broker, we want to do deals with them. We respect them. We listen to them about the particular situation. But when they tell you how to operate your business or they tell you that it can't be done, remind yourself that you are not trying to step in their shoes. So somebody giving you advice that's never been to the top of the mountain, probably not a good place to take any advice from. Okay. So I hope this is helpful, but let's talk about the flow of a deal. Let's talk about what I will actually do. Okay. Jason Holloway says, are seasonal RV parks okay to buy? Yes, I own multiple. I own 3. Okay. Kim Chitwood says, when joining your SubTo community, will you do a deal with me directly? Yes, I do a lot of deals with my students directly. I make calls for them. In fact, if anybody in SubTo, I want you to remind yourself, this is not a SubTo Zoom. This is a general YouTube education or a general Facebook group education. On Friday this week, SubTo, I have 3 hours of back-to-back RV park and mobile home park calls on Friday. So if you're in SubTo, go to the SubTo calendar. You'll see that Friday afternoon. Don't ask me what time. Go to the calendar. Okay. And you will see all of those things. What are the tiers of SubTo and what's the difference? Are you interested in tiny home parks? Sure, I am. Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic, my friends. Let's stay on topic. I got to pause the side chat because y'all are wild. All right, cool. So let's go to the whiteboard. Let's talk about the flow of that particular deal, and I'll help you guys understand that deal. Carly, I want the side chat to keep going, but Carly, can you, I want the side chat to keep going, but if people start going wild in the side chat, can you just pause the side chat? But I'd like to just keep everybody, I want to be able to look over the side chat and see that people are actually paying attention and say, hey, we understand this, et cetera. But if I pause the side chat, I can't see that. If I turn the side chat on and people start asking wild questions or being wild in the side chat because they recognize I'm not in front of the camera, I'm over here on my big whiteboard, please just pause the side chat, okay? Can we get a yes that everybody agrees we're going to behave in the side chat? Because I got a lot of people from the free Facebook group and my YouTube channel that are just, y'all are wild, like absolutely wild. It's crazy. I don't know what pack of heathens and wolves raised you, some of you guys, but y'all are wild. Okay, so let's talk about this Tennessee deal. And we'll talk about this, my goal and my objective on this particular situation so you guys understand what am I trying to accomplish. Well, let's talk about what do we have here. The first thing we have is we have a seller in Tennessee. Okay. We have a seller in Tennessee. Gosh, y'all are going to be blown away. By the way, I'm not going to spell things correctly. Forgive me. I'm a real estate investor. Okay. Yes, you can see now. Chill out. You can see. Hey, Richard Gonzalez, can we agree that there's no way I'm going to be able to, guys, can we get a yes in the side chat that any question you ask me in the side chat is going to be off topic? And can we just be active in the side chat instead of asking questions that I'm obviously not going to be able to get to? I have a topic I want to cover. Can you guys please agree to not ask wild questions in the side chat so we can stay on topic? Can I get a yes? Spelling doesn't count, by the way. It doesn't count. The way I spell is the way it's supposed to be. Okay. All right. So this seller, here's what's interesting. You're going to get a really big masterclass here. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we've got a broker here. Let's just call her Samantha. I'm just going to call her Sam. She's representing this mobile home park in Tennessee. If you see a listing, let's say you're new, you are going to see a listing. This is you, you're new, and you are going to see something on Crexy, LoopNet, mobilehomeparkstore.com, creative listing, okay? Because you're too afraid to cold call sellers, right? This is on market stuff where they're already on market, they're already trying to sell. Here's what happened. Somebody new off my YouTube channel, okay? The person that introduced me to this person is a brand new student of 1 day. They have not even been fully trained yet. Okay, they're 1 day as my student. They see this listing, so they call Sam, the broker, and they say, hi, my partner, and he poses the buyer. If we are new, should we pose as the buyer of anything? Yes or no? If we are new, should we ever pose as the buyer of anything? No. We shouldn't pose as the buyer. We should pose as exactly who we are. We don't want to lie because you are building relationships and you are going to learn something so powerful here in about 5 minutes about my intention on this park. And you are going to go, oh my gosh, this makes so much freaking sense. There you go. Larry says, never misrepresent yourself. I will literally never misrepresent myself. There are times I'm tempted to not say my real name, but I don't want to lie. I have a tendency to not want to lie. So I am okay with the repercussions. In fact, I want to get better at overcoming the objection of RV park and mobile home park brokers saying, oh no, I don't want to talk to Pace Morby because he does creative finance. I want to get better at the call I just did. Does everybody else want to get better Pace, how did you get so good? I came out of my womb and the doctor handed me a basket of skills. Nope, that's not how that works. I had to go through hundreds of phone calls over all these years to go, oh, that didn't go so well. Let me go back and re-listen to that. Let me go back and see what I could have done better. Wow, I didn't really treat that person. I was disrespectful. I was this, I was that, whatever, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys the objective of this deal, and I'm going to tell you what we learned here, okay? What most newbies do, oh my gosh, please understand this. If I could give this as a microchip in every newbie's brain, I would give it to them. If all you've done is spoken to the broker one time and you've looked at the listing and you say, how do I structure this deal? This is going to help you out a lot. There is literally no way to structure a deal after one phone call. That's like asking me, how do I put this puzzle together, but half the pieces are missing? You can't put the puzzle together without all the pieces. The conversations you have, the less you speak, the more the broker will hand you another piece to the puzzle over and over and over. Does everybody understand that analogy? I shut my mouth. All I'm doing is encouraging them to hand me another piece of the puzzle, another piece of the puzzle. What is another piece of the puzzle that we did not have from the new student of mine that will change the entire deal and change my objective with this agent? Okay. Check this out. You're going to learn a lot today. I hope you already have. Have you guys already learned a lot today? Okay. So this is where we're at, right? So my student is brand new. So he hasn't even gone through the training yet. He hasn't come to my office. I tell all my students, come to my office for a week. Let's do a deal together. And I want them all to come in and hang out with me in person so they can actually meet my team and the people that they're going to submit deals to. And he hasn't done that yet because he just joined. Okay. So what does he do? He makes a mistake, and that's okay. We want to make some mistakes. As long as there's no money involved, we want to make mistakes. And he says, I'm a buyer. He's not. And he then tees me up and says, Pace, will you call this person for me? And of course, my answer is, yeah, you're a SubTo member. I'd love to. I said, but I need to call the broker directly. This is what I told him. I said, give me the direct contact information so I can communicate with the broker. And obviously my objective wasn't even the park, even though that was the side angle. And so I called the broker directly. Okay. Give me a yes. You guys are following along where we're at in this story. Now I'm going to remove my student from this portion of the transaction, and I'm going to bridge the gap with a conversation. And I'm going to sign a separate agreement with my student over here. This is my new student. I'm going to sign a little JV agreement over here. This anytime I draw a square, it's like a contract. A joint venture. JV stands for joint venture. It's like a light partnership. Give me a yes. You understand what a JV is, a light partnership. So now my student doesn't need to worry about me screwing him over. I also don't need to worry about calling my student to go to Sam. Do you think it's going to be really fun for Sam to have to hear from my new student every time there's a new piece of information? Go, oh, I don't know. Let me call my partner. Oh, let me call my partner. Let me call my partner. Let me call my partner. Do you think that a quality broker is going to be able to handle that, or are they going to be okay with that? No. And so you need to have a partner that is quality, and I will show you guys how to find them on Thursday. You need to have a partner on every single deal that can handle these conversations directly with the broker. Can I get a yes that you understand this and that you are not going to be able to handle those conversations on your own? Period. End of story. But Pace, I'm a great salesperson. Great. Guess what they're going to ask for? I wrote it all down. She wants to see your finance department. She wants to see your due diligence package. She wants to see your escrow deposit rather large. She wants to see your due diligence to be short. She wants to contact your finance company where your capital currently sits. She wants to know that the entity you're submitting the offer in is not going to play any funny games, meaning you can't wholesale it. You can't do anything. Everything has to be straightforward. And she wants to see that whole entire game plan when you submit the offer. How many people agree that you're not going to do a really good job with this broker if you're brand new without a partner? If you're brand new and you have a partner like me, or you have a partner like one of my students, will you now do incredibly well? Because I have students that have been in my community for 4, 5, 6 years that can handle these calls as good or even sometimes better than me. Okay. Why better? Because sometimes different personalities do better with different personalities, et cetera. Okay. So there's what this currently looks like. All right. So I have this conversation with the broker and I say, hey, here's all the things, right? Did I overcome her unwillingness to talk to me? Yes or no? Yep. Objective complete. Did I overcome her fear of working with me long term? Yes or no? Yes. Did I show credibility? Did I show her that I have proof that I can do these deals with her? Did I show her that I have patience and that I cannot be offended and I am easy to talk to? Okay. Sometimes when you're on a call with a broker, one of the most important things you can do on a call with a broker or an agent or even a seller is be somebody that is easy to talk to. Do you guys have anybody in your life that when they call you, you look at the call and you go, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on the call for like an hour and this person's annoying? Okay. Do you really need a freaking script to remind you to not be like the people you are bothered by? Or do you just maybe be an adult and not be annoying? Pretty simple. Don't talk over people. Know how to guide the conversation. You're simple. It's really, really simple. Okay. Okay. So did I accomplish all of those things on this call? John Patterson says, wing it. I don't think we wing anything in life. I think we've had thousands, if not millions of interactions in our life that we've learned inherently how to behave as human beings. And if you're an absolute idiot, then you should probably just go be a Walmart greeter instead of trying to be a salesperson. Okay. By the way, Walmart greeters are cool. I like my Walmart greeter. I see him every week. His name's Tom. Okay. Tom's the bomb. Okay. So there we go. This is where we currently are. Now, I had a conversation, and here's the stuff that I learned in this conversation. Please pay attention because some of you guys that said, do you guys remember somebody in the side chat said I would have hung up on this person already? Who watched that? Oh my gosh, it was so good. I was like, and this is why you're poor. So what did Pace learn on this call? Here's what Pace learned on this call. Pace learned that she works for Colliers and that her team did a $740 million deal. What else did Pace learn? Pace learned that she goes to conferences, and Pace wrote down the name of the conference so he can go there next year. Because I like going to conferences and I like paying money to get educated. I'm not one of these broke ass YouTube people that think that when somebody charges them $1 that they're trying to screw them over. I look for places to spend money. And more importantly, I look for places to spend money where other people have spent money. Okay. I also learned that she does transactions in Canada. So why is this valuable to me, guys? Why is this valuable to me? Because if I run into deals in Canada, I can send her deals. Not everything is about me buying deals. I'm not looking to buy this gosh dang deal. The problem with new people is you think every single call is you trying to close the deal. What did I learn about the deal? Nothing. Other than one thing that's a key aspect, and I'll tell you what it is here in a minute. It's mind-blowing what it does to change whatever. Everybody's like, I got to close this. No, you don't. I'm not trying to close any deal. I'm trying to build a relationship with this broker. I'm trying to establish rapport and trust so that when I do submit an offer, she actually takes it seriously. Tyler Gear says it's like playing chess. I guess. I think chess is way harder than just being nice to people. But I guess. Okay. So what else so is that mind blowing to learn that little nugget of like, oh yeah, I didn't even pick up on that now you have a potential buyer pool. Does she represent other buyers, my friends? Does she know other RV park and mobile home park buyers? Yes or no? Yes, she does. So did I gain in this conversation already? Did I win in this conversation already? Yes or no? You see why poor people stay poor? Because the people are like, I would have hung up on her a long time ago. Because you think the objective is trying to close a deal on every conversation. I got so much out of this conversation. And this is why I win. Okay? So Somebody says, who's the guy behind you? It's the Kanye West. This is Outkast. It's a rap group. Some of you white people don't know anything about talented rap. You boring white people. Sorry, I'm a boring white person too. I just learned rap is the coolest of all time. And then behind me is the Kanye West bear. And I put him in all of my SubTo gear. It's Kanye West bear. Okay, cool. So there you go. You got that answer. So here we go. Did I gain on this call? Did I make a lot of, did I get a lot out of this one little call? Yes. The problem is you guys that are new are like, you didn't close the seller. You didn't close the deal. Okay, that's silly. All right, cool, whatever. I gained on this call. We already know we gained. That's cool. Do I have a new buyer pool? Yes, I do. Could I also send her Canadian deals that I don't want to buy? Yes, I sure can. What I also learned is, do you think this lady, okay, do you think that this lady has potential buyers for deals in USA? Yes, she does. She has a lot of buyers in the USA as well. So could I send her deals in the USA? I sure can. I also got a lot of insight on what her belief system is on land development. Was that helpful for some of you guys that are like, why doesn't Pace develop land? Was that kind of nice to get that insight? So did I get educated on something instead of just sitting and watching a YouTube video? I actually got educated from a real person doing real deals in real time that their land developers are on pause. That was insightful. That was helpful for me, right? All right, awesome. I also learned probably one of the most important things. What did you guys learn in the call from her? What would you guys have taken from this call? Give me in the side chat. What did we learn from her on the call? I learned what she's looking for as a potential buyer. I learned that her group is actually interested in creative finance deals. They probably just need to be educated. So what will I do? What will I do in every single offer I give her? Every single offer I give her, I'm going to give her a cash offer that's reasonable. And I'm also going to give her a creative finance offer that is unreasonably good, price-wise. And so I will say, hey, broker, I know that you said that you, and here's how I will have this conversation with her. I'll say, hey, Sam, I know that my first offer is what you're looking for, and I'll make it a cash offer that makes sense for me or one of my buyers. And I totally get that you won't even look at my second offer. That's okay, right? This is what I'll say in the LOI. And what I'll do in SubTo, guys, I'll actually submit this LOI on Friday in our Friday Zoom. So everybody in SubTo, I'll actually walk through the LOI paperwork with you guys. You guys will actually see how I submit it. But what I'll do is I'll say, hey, Sam, I totally get that my second offer is something you're probably just going to cruise by. But I wanted to at least show you what kind of offers I can give your clients as a second backup option. Okay. Guess what I also learned on this call? I learned that this deal will not do creative finance. And there is no reason to try and convince them otherwise. Does anybody know why? The reason being is because this Tennessee Park owner, this is what I learned about him. She gave me this. Did I get a puzzle piece at the end of the call that if I was a broke-minded person, I would have not gotten the piece at the end of the call because I would have been offended, upset, or what have you. And I would have ended the call well before the agent hands the puzzle piece to me. And the puzzle piece was my seller has a lot of debt that he needs to pay off. He has a lot of investors that are clamoring to get their money back, and he's in a really bad situation. He needs to sell and get the heck out. Okay. So what will I do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to submit a cash offer and I'm going to submit a creative offer. And my offer will be two. Actually, I'll submit 3 offers. One will be cash. That's pretty simple. We understand that. Cash right here. Second offer will be a seller finance deal with 50% down payment. This will be a Morby method deal. I don't know the debt structure. I don't know what kind of debt this guy has. I don't know enough of the puzzle. Gosh dang it. Okay. I don't know enough of the puzzle. And so it's hard to structure these deals if I haven't figured that all out. Okay, so I'll do a Morby method offer. I will also do a third offer of seller finance, which is probably something she will understand. And then I will call her and explain them to her. Attached to my offer, here's what I will submit. And I want to be very clear here with you newer people. I know you don't have these things. I have these things. My students have these things. And if you partner with my students and not pretend to be a buyer, me and my students will do deals with you. So don't have this small thinking mindset of, I need all of these things. Can I tell you what I will bring to the table for this broker? And you, starting out, don't need to think, oh my gosh, I don't have those things. You just have to find somebody that has it. Think about this. This is crazy. If I'm new, this is the kind of stuff that new people think. This is the most bonkers thing ever. New people think, you know what? I'm going to go play basketball. I'm going to go to the basketball court. Right? Here's the basketball court, right? And they go to the basketball court and they realize, oh crap, I don't have a ball. Then like 30 minutes later, somebody else shows up at the basketball court and guess what they have? And they have a ball. Well, there's a couple of things you could do, isn't there? You could cry like a little baby and go, I don't have a buyer. Deswan Petit, how is this not on track? This is exactly on track. How is this not on track? Get the hell out of here if you think I'm not on track. And so I could complain I don't have a ball, or I can just go and say, hey, can we hang out and play ball together? Yes or no? Do we agree with this? Okay, so this is what's going to happen in these transactions is you're going to go, but I don't have this list of things that Pace is going to go through. I'm going to go through them right now. Or you can team up with somebody and let's play ball together. Can I get a yes, we agree with this? Okay, cool. So, man, I don't know what you guys expect. You guys, this isn't TikTok. This is a live Zoom. You TikTok addicted junkies that just want 30-second tidbits of information, do not come to my lives. I go long. I explain things in story form. I draw them out. I don't go off topic. I expand the topic because we're not idiots on TikTok right now having our brains completely rotten. Make sense? Chill out with the stay on. Bro, don't stay on topic. Expand the topic. I want to expand the topic so you actually understand it truly, okay? Get the freaking heck out of here. Okay. All right. So here's the list of things that I will add to my offer, right? So here's my offer. I'm going to submit. And by the way, this is not truly an offer. It's called an LOI. It stands for letter of intent. It's like, hey, if we end up going under contract, my offer will be something like this. And I'll have offer 1, offer 2, offer 3, and offer 4. And I'll give them a couple of different options, okay? And SubTo members, I'll do this on Friday on a Zoom, and I'll walk you through how to make this offer. Sound good, everybody in SubTo? Okay, now, if I am going to submit this LOI, I'm going to also add these things. I'm going to add A, my bank balance, okay? B, again, guys, this is the basketball. I could either complain I don't have it, or I can ask somebody who does. B, I'm going to show my portfolio. C, I'm going to give a broker that I just closed, I'm going to give their phone number. And I'm also going to tell this broker, hey, expect that other brokers might call you and ask you if I'm legit. I will then also have them, I will get a letter from my insurance company saying that they would insure the park, okay? Because this is a common issue. This commonly happens in RV parks and mobile home parks, is that when you're buying the deal, okay? When you're buying the deal, what will a lot of times happen is that you will have a seller or a broker say, you know what, our previous buyer, their insurance company would insure it because it's in a flood zone or it's in a this or it's in a that. And we were like 60 days into the transaction and we found out that it couldn't close, right? So what ends up happening No, not title insurance, literal property insurance. Property insurance. Okay. John Patterson says, when do you put the earnest money down? Way after this. Way after this. Okay. You don't put up any earnest money until you are in a PSA, purchase and sale agreement. Okay. LOI is a letter of intent. We haven't even got on our first date yet. Okay. So I'm going to give the broker all of these things. And I'm also going to give them, let's see, what else could I give her that would justify this? I would give her okay, bank balance, show my whole portfolio. Here's a broker that I recently closed on. Here's my insurance. And then this is just for extra measure. I will have her have access to my family office. Go Google what this means. This is a really challenging type of LOI to send over for somebody that's new. And this is how you win. You go, here's all the stuff. Okay. Proof of funds is my bank balance, right? There's nothing better than a proof. Like, what's the difference between my bank balance, like a screenshot of my bank, and actually access to my like Rod Oppie, who's my banker, versus a proof of funds? A proof of funds is fake. And what I mean by that is you're getting a letter from a bank that says, yes, we'll fund this deal, right? They want to know you have the money, we're ready to execute. Ooh, that's the part that I'll do is I will actually get my bank. Okay. I will use a bank that my SubTo students have access to. I will have her have access to my bank for the financing piece. And she can call my banker. This is not my cash, right? My bank balance is my cash here that I have access to. Here is who I'm going to get finance from. And so I will put her in touch with a guy named James Litzler. And I will actually put his contact information and say, here's James Litzler. I've closed $100 million in transactions with him. Now, is that a quality offer that I bring all of those things to the table? Yes or no? Cool. Yeah. Teresa says, I'm a banker and I used to do this for people all the time. Cool. All right. Awesome. So I'm going to go and make this offer, but here's what I want you to understand. I don't think I'm going to end up buying this deal with her. Okay. I think that I'm not the perfect buyer for this Tennessee park. I think that I'm going to submit an offer that makes sense for us to buy it. And hopefully we are the buyer. I would love that. But what am I really trying to do with this amazing broker? What am I really trying to do? What I'm really trying to do is actually show her how fast I communicate. I'm showing her, ooh, here's another thing. Okay. Do you think that I will show her a picture of my team? Let's see if I can put my team in here. Let's see. Oops. If I showed her a picture of my team and I showed her the people that actually run the transaction and I introduce her, like, think about, this is cool. I don't know if I have these photos, but if I showed her a photo of my team, this is my accountant, this is my COO, this is my so-and-so, this is my such and such. I understand that you don't have this as a new person. That's why you work with people like me, or you work with people in my community. They have access to these types of things. And if I showed her the people she would be communicating with, and even if, think about this, listen, even if we don't do a deal, will I end up doing a deal with that woman guaranteed at some point in the next 12, 24, 18 months? Yes or no? Yes. This is my opportunity. My opportunity is to win that relationship. Okay. And to actually have a conversation with this lady that will benefit both her and me. And all I care about right now is not the deal. In fact, let me change the way I'm saying this. The deal is not the Tennessee Mobile Home Park. The deal is this incredible human being that I want to do a lot of deals with in the future. That's the deal. So let's ask the question, did I seal the deal on that conversation today? And will I completely wrap it up in a bow if I send over the LOI, the offer with 4 options, cash option being number 1, because that's what she wants to see, 3 other options that I could then call her and go, hey, do you mind if I explain these other 3 options? I know they don't make sense for your client now, but they might help understand for my future offers. And I intend on making an offer on every deal you have come down your pipeline. 9 out of 10 times, I'm not going to buy the deal. But what if 1 out of 10 times you do? I want that Here's what I want that broker to think of. I want that broker to say that Pace Morby guy is worth $500,000 in commissions to me every single year. I want that broker to think that Pace Morby guy, when a text message or a phone call, that Pace Morby guy is a $500,000 a year commission for me. I want to send him a Christmas card. I want to, invite him to Collier's events. I want him to come speak to my group. I will win that relationship by making her money. That is what my intention is in that relationship. I do not care if I buy that Tennessee park. Now, imagine this. This is all on market. We'll talk a lot about off market tomorrow, but this is on market, right? This is deals that are coming through a broker. Do you think that I need 100 brokers to do a couple of deals a year? Or do I need like 2 brokers or 1 broker to do 1 or 2 deals a year that make me a couple $100,000? Okay. This is the problem. People think this is what I love about bigger assets is that you're working with brokers that are awesome and they get enough deal flow that you could literally just build a good quality relationship with that one person. And you don't have to go beyond that. In single family, which I love single family, the problem with single family is you need a lot more opportunities to get large chunks of money. And so bigger assets, bigger paydays. I buy 1 mobile home park. Majority of people in here could quit their day job off of 1 mobile home park. You could also probably replace your day job's income by assigning one or getting paid a finder's fee on one. We'll talk a lot about that on Thursday. But hopefully this has been super helpful for you. Get rid of this, Veronica. I don't know what that means. Not every broker knows real business. Yep, sure. Carly, will you get rid of Veronica? Apparently John Patterson says we need to get rid of Veronica. Okay, cool. So a broker call is, you're going to have a lot easier of a time. I'll tell you that I actually have a disadvantage when I'm calling brokers because when they know who I am fighting an uphill battle, right? They already have their guard up. They already are not open to having a communication with me. And so I have to fight a battle you don't have to fight. Luckily, I've gotten really good at those things. And so I'm happy to do those calls. And I think that people like her are just the freaking greatest people on the planet. And I look forward to doing business with her. I saw a lot of things in the side chat where people would say, doesn't that broker have a responsibility to submit offers? How many people have heard this, this information? Like brokers and agents have a legal responsibility to submit offers to their clients. That they have a fiduciary responsibility. How many people have heard that? Okay. It is true, but it is also not enforceable. Think about this. If I have a broker that doesn't want to submit a deal for me, the only way for me to enforce that is to spend time or spend money. So if I'm going to spend time or spend money to enforce that, get an attorney, go after their broker, talk to their association, couldn't I just take that same amount of time and energy and that money and just go find a new opportunity? So the reality is this belief system of like, we can force agents or brokers to do anything we want them to do is not true. Could I threaten her and say, you have a fiduciary responsibility? Guess what she can do? She can just block me on her phone. And I have a way to enforce that. And I can go and make a report about her and I can go to her higher ups and I can do all sorts of things. But do you think that they're going to defend her or they're going to fight for me? Which one do you think is going to happen? They're going to defend her because she's a producer. And so does it make sense for us to even care whether an agent submits an offer on your behalf or not, and we're going to get bothered by it? Or should we just move on to the next opportunity? Here's the problem. The problem is when you are brand new, you think every opportunity is going to be your last opportunity. When you're experienced, you realize opportunities come around every 3 minutes. Okay. Every single 3 minutes. When you're new, an opportunity comes along and you get somebody interested in talking to you, you want to hold on to that and focus on that thing until you kill it. You suffocate it. We call this one-itis. Okay. You get one opportunity, you get one lead, you get one broker, and you suffocate it because you won't let it breathe. The best way to let a lead breathe is go get another lead. And then you're kind of spending a little bit less time, et cetera, on each one of them. Okay. Leanne says, that's how I think also. That's the truth. That's honestly what you've got to do. Okay. All right. Let's do a little bit of Q&A. Can we do some Q&A specifically around maybe this broker call? And can we do some Q&A around creative finance? And can we try and keep everything on topic? Yes. Ray D says, Pace, rather than joining your community, can I invest in your deals? Yes. Email jade@pacemorby.com and you can invest in my deals anytime. You can invest in my deals anytime. Email jade@pacemorby.com. Jade, Jade, at pacemorby.com. You can figure it out. Jade@pacemorby.com. You can always invest in my deals. Yes, absolutely. Okay, cool. Let's do, yes, Andrell, there's always a replay. We'll send out the replay for everybody. Okay. Broker says seller finance won't work because seller's basis is too low for exchanging and depreciation. Okay, Jordan Tanner. So let's talk. I'll go to Jordan Tanner. We'll open up the Q&A with somebody that's not going to ask me a question that I've already covered. Jordan Tanner, what's up, man? How you doing? What you got?
Hey, and I apologize if you hear kids screaming in the back.
It's all good, bro. We all got kids. So this is what we do this business to take care of our kids. So don't apologize at all. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
What do you got?
I have some tired landlords
Okay.
with RV parks, but you know, the brokers are like, oh, seller finance, yeah, sounds great, but they'd have to go get a loan if they're going to finance you because their basis is so low.
Yeah, that's called sub 3, just so you know. Sub 2 is where I take over existing debt. Sub 3 is where I ask them to go and get a new debt, and then I take that over sub 2. So you absolutely can do that. The reality is if I tell an owner, I've done this a lot. In fact, I talked about this yesterday. Maybe you weren't here yesterday. A deal that I recently did is I had a seller do a cash out refinance on one of their parks. And then I took over their debt subject to. So the cash they received was a debt. It cost them no money in terms of taxes. And that was a new debt that they acquired in terms of that cash. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so the answer is yes, they can do that. Now, again, you're going to run into the same situation I was just running into with this broker. When you guys do on-market deals, do you guys want me to talk about off-market deals on Thursday? And I'll give you guys a full off-market list of all the mobile home parks in the country. I'll give you a whole list of all the parks in the country. Okay. When you are dealing with brokers, you are having to educate brokers on things they've never done before, right? And you can see the reason why brokers and agents are not educated on this is because they run away from creative finance, right? Somebody submits a creative finance offer. The agents that are hyper intelligent about it are like, yeah, I'm game if I can learn something. 99% of agents don't do that. They go, no, it won't work because of blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, it's not that it won't work. It's that we just changed the strategy. This is called sub 3. Instead of sub 2, we call it sub 3, which means seller goes out, acquires a new debt, does a cash out refinance. The seller now has a loan that I buy sub 2, no credit check on my side, no bank approval. I could do this through a lease. I'm talking really fast and highly technical, so I'm going to lose a lot of people, but I can acquire that property through an agreement for sale, a sub 2 transaction, or even a lease option. What questions do you have? Okay, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's a workaround to, these properties just sitting there unsold.
Yep, there you go. Does that answer your question? Are we good?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the next step would be to jump in on learning them and using them.
Cool, love it. All right, so let me go to. We got some Q&A. I think we had hands raised. Carly, want to let people raise some hands? Actually, you know what? I might not do raise hands because what I've learned with people that raise their hands, Carly, let's take that off. What I've learned is that people that raise their hands have not paid attention at all. And I think it's better for me to just ask questions. I'd go to questions in the side chat. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go to a couple of questions in the side chat, stuff that's already in there. I'm going to pause the side chat for a second and make sure. Justin Rich says, what do you pass on? So let's let everybody get to know who Justin Rich is. I'll bring Justin Rich up here. Man, how many people were there yesterday that every question I had that came on the screen was like embarrassing how these people were not paying attention? How many people were like embarrassed for the people asking questions? Like they showed up 2 hours late and they asked a question about something we covered like 2 hours ago, 30 minutes ago. Even a guy came and asked a question about something we covered 7 minutes ago. I was like, bro, where were you? He goes, oh, I just showed up. I'm like, you showed up to a moving train and then asked everybody, where are we going? Like, what the heck, dude? Justin, what do you got, brother?
Just curious, you say you're going up in the price that you're looking for, but what do you actually pass on? Like, what is a no deal on an RV or park? Like you say, does it have paved roads or stuff like that? What are you not looking for?
Okay, so the main objective of owning real estate, okay, why do we buy real estate? Let's cover this. I know that here's my short answer. Here's the short answer for the TikTok folks. I want the thing making money on day one. I don't want a fixer upper. By no means do I say I don't want to buy an ugly park. I buy ugly parks. I just want to make sure that park is making money on day one. That means that I don't want a financial fixer upper. I want it making money on day one. I've done a lot of those where I turn parks over. It takes a couple of years. I don't want to do that. Okay. There is so many parks that are already producing money. There's so much opportunity. It is scary how much opportunity there is. I have no time for wasting my time on those things. However, can I give you the longer version of this answer? Justin Rich.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Ben Jones says, will you cover how to comp a park? Justin, if I don't get to that, just go to my YouTube channel. I got YouTube videos on that. Okay. Cool. So let's cover, why do I buy real estate? Let's cover that just for a quick minute. Why do I buy real estate or even businesses? Okay. Businesses, RV parks, mobile home parks, self-storage, Airbnb, whatever the freaking thing is that you want to buy, my friends, you want to buy these things for a couple of, actually 7 reasons. Okay. Number 1, cash flow. Do I want to buy a property that cash flows? So I now have a minimum. When I first started out on mobile home parks and RV parks, I had a minimum of $3,000 a month. And when I say $3,000 a month, I mean in my pocket. So my property manager's paid, my CapEx is paid. CapEx means capital expenditure. It's a stupid word for repairs. People in multifamily, people that are brokers, like, oh, let me be fancy. And they want to use all these stupid words, okay, like NOI and IRR and cap rate. They want to confuse you because they don't want you in the business. They make the water muddy so you think it's deep. Write that one down, tattoo that on your arm. They make the water muddy because they want you to think it's deep. Okay, so I wanted to buy properties when I first started that netted $3,000 a month. Why? Pace, why not $2,700? Guys, not everything has to be overthought. Okay, you over analytical analysis paralysis people, my word, if you put as much effort into just taking action, you'd be billionaires. For me, my $3,000 is I was hiring employees at the time. This is 13 years ago, full-time employees at $3,000 a month. So I thought, if I buy an asset that nets me $3,000, I could afford to bring another person on my team. Not everything has to be hyper like spreadsheety and everything is a E equals MC squared. And I'm going to go. Do we understand it can be as simple as what you want it to be? Can I get a yes? You understand? Well, I want to quit my job and my job makes me $17,000 a month. Cool. That means I would like to buy one asset at $17,000 net or 3 assets at $6,000 net, right? Do you understand? Pretty simple. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got it. So for me, when I first started, I was okay with $3,000 a month cash flow. Then the other reason why we buy real estate is because we know that it's going to appreciate over time, right? Appreciation. Another reason we buy these RV parks and mobile home parks, okay, is Roland says, hey guys, welcome to the future. You guys can literally go to Claude, ChatGPT and say, Claude, ChatGPT, give me a script on how to talk to these brokers. I'm not a script person. I think it's a waste of time. I wouldn't take a woman on a date with a script. I wouldn't talk to my children with using a script. I wouldn't make friends using a script. So why do you think it's okay to go buy a massive asset by following a script? But if you are a script kind of person and you need some guidelines because nobody's ever taught you how to communicate with human beings, go talk to a non-human being called ChatGPT or Claude, and it will help you out. Go do the thing. Okay. I'm not a script person, and you will find in 2 years, 3 years of you not taking any action that you're stacked up with scripts and you're sitting there, man, I got all these scripts, but I still haven't taken any action. Ain't gonna help you. Script ain't gonna help you. Sorry. I'll tell you what will help you on Thursday. Okay. So going back to this, I want obviously tax benefits or depreciation, and mobile home parks and RV parks are honestly some of the best. The fourth reason why we buy these is because my properties will be paid down by my tenants. So the debt I acquire, whether it's seller finance or even with a bank, which 90% of the time I don't use banks, unless I'm doing a Morby method deal. Sixth reason is for the story, right? You guys can all agree that when I tell you a story and I show you an address and I show you examples and I give you recordings and I do the thing, the story, believe it or not, for people that have a YouTube channel like me, the story makes me way more money. Why? Because what ends up happening is you saw me just talk to a broker, right? So what happens is my students are now inspired to go do the same thing, and then they bring me deals. I'll make way more money on buying deals from the story than I did on the deal I told the story about. Believe it or not, it compounds into deals. So this is another reason why I buy deals. The sixth reason I buy deals, okay, the sixth reason I buy deals is to retire my team, okay, and scale my team, scale or retire my team, okay? So if I start getting to a point where my team is so good, like if you were in my community, you would see how good my team is. They run a lot of Zooms, they teach a lot of stuff. These ladies, these people also deserve to have some sort of retirement at some point. So me buying assets is like a pension plan for them at some point. And at some point, their time and their energy is not worthy of $1 million park. Their time and their energy, even though the park might make $3,000, it's not worthy of my team's time anymore unless the park is making 7,000 minimum. And so when somebody brings me a park and they go, Pace, let's say they're in SubTo and they come to me and go, Pace, I want to do this park. Will you help me? I will get their park all the way to the point where they're getting into purchase and sell agreement. And then I'll help my students find a buyer that will buy that deal and I get out. My team needs to buy bigger deals. So will I turn down deals today that I would have happily bought years ago that you should still buy today? Yes, you need to understand I'm not buying deals because they're bad deals. I'm buying deals because I have a large enough team that we are hungry for larger deals to satisfy the hunger pains that team has. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you got to feed the machine.
You got to feed the machine. And so would it make sense, for example, for Elon Musk? I'm not anywhere near Elon Musk, not even 1% of 1% of 1%, but I'm just giving an example of somebody everybody understands and knows. Would it make sense for him to go buy like a shoe repair company?
No.
No, but when he was in like high school, if a shoe repair company came up that he could make $3,000 or $4,000 on, would he have probably jumped at that opportunity?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Gotcha. So there's a phaseology as well of like, what phase am I in versus what phase was I in before? And a lot of people that have followed my journey on YouTube or followed me for all these years, they'll go, man, Pace has changed. No, Pace has grown. And so now I have a larger team that has different aspects. And my team now goes, wait a minute. So if we buy these $3 million deals, they take up as much time as the $10 million deals. And if I'm going to get some sort of retirement off of one of these assets, if you are on my team, running my team now that I don't have to be involved on a daily basis, welcome to ownership. If you were on my team, which one would you choose? The $10 million deal or the $3 million deal?
Obviously the 10, yeah.
Obviously a 10, right? And then somebody that's a smaller minded person, not saying they're stupid, they just haven't learned, they'll say, well, why not both? Well, because RV parks and mobile home parks are very unlike single family where you can, there was a time where I bought 100 single family houses in a year. I bought 55 SubTo deals from one of my students in 1 year. I still own like 40 of them. There's no physical way I could buy 55 RV parks or mobile home parks. There's too many moving pieces. There's park managers. There's hundreds of tenants sometimes. There's marketing, websites, there's accounting, there's all sorts of onboarding that takes months in order for you to onboard a large park. Onboarding means who's going to do the accounting, who's going to check the such and such. Hey, the website's not working. Who do we go to? Those types of things.
Right.
So I can't buy 50 RV parks in a year. I could buy 15 to 20, and that's an insane number. In fact, I'd say 10 RV parks is equivalent to like 150 single family houses. So if my team knows we can only onboard so many parks, they're going to gravitate to the larger deals, and they're going to help. They're not going to turn the deals down. They're going to help the students get the deals done, but they're going to help another student buy that deal from another student. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Cool. And does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Cool. I could easily give people a lot shorter of an answer, but I think that people probably appreciate the longer answers to provide a little bit more context. Does everybody agree with that? It's nice to get the longer answer to be like, okay, I get the context. Okay. Elijah says, how did you learn to overcome brokers, pivots, and deflections? Okay. Elijah, let's have a conversation. And you're not going to like this, but here's the answer. Elijah Gibson, what's up, man? How you doing? What do you got?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm really good. So Elijah, you have, what do you do for a living? What do you do for work?
Right now I'm a cashier, but like after I get off, I start calling sellers and stuff to get deals under contract.
Okay. Did you know I also was a cashier when I first started making money?
I didn't.
Okay. I'll show you guys. So just so you guys know that wasn't born with all this knowledge. I had to go and earn it, and I'm grateful that I did. But let's go Smith's Grocery in Pleasant Grove. Okay, I'll tell you where I used to push grocery carts right here in this parking lot. Right, wow, they upgraded this thing. It's way nicer. It's way nicer now. Holy moly! Hold on, give me a second, guys. This is good. So, oh my gosh, this is where I used to work. I'm going to pull it up. Give me a second, guys. But this is this ties into your question. So this little parking lot right here in Pleasant Grove, Utah, this is the parking lot that I used to push grocery carts around, and I upgraded to a cashier. Okay, I upgraded to a cashier. And why do I say this? I say this because you talk to maybe 200 people a day, don't you?
Probably a little less than that, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's say it's 50 people a
Mhm.
day. Okay. Let's say it's 10. You talk to 10 people a day. Are they all exactly the same?
No.
Do you know when somebody comes down the aisle, how to communicate with them based on their body composure and what they're dressed as?
Yes.
Interesting. Even a cashier is learning without it. Did Smiths give you a script?
No.
Oh, shit. Wow. Really? So this is like the exact same thing as like being a cashier as it is buying multi-million dollar deals?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. We just think it's magic, right? It's not magic. You've just done it. And so we all have something like that in our lives, and you understand how to communicate with people based on how they communicate. Now, I've gotten really good at it, where the point where I can identify who this person is. This is how crazy good I've gotten at it. Do we all have, how many people feel like you've adopted this ability too? Like you could meet 25 people and you probably within 90 percentile can identify how to communicate with each individual person. Give me a yes, if that's you. Okay, cool. So why do we need, okay? Why do we need to worry about scripts when we already live a life that gives us all that experience? And why do we need to overthink it? You're already doing it on a daily basis. You're talking to 10 different people. You might have the same, hey, how you doing? Welcome to such and such. How you doing? How you doing? But they all have different personalities. You know which ones want to be talked to. You know which ones are funny. You know how to get them to talk when you want to. You already know all of this. Can I get a yes from you?
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you need more help?
I don't. I probably just overthinking it.
You are overthinking it, right? So our body's tendency is to say, I don't want to do the work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on all of Pace's trainings and I'm going to think that there's some magical nugget that's going to get me to do, bro. If I could just tell everybody, get off this training right now and just make calls and get incredibly good. I wish I could wave a magic wand and they would do that. However, most people are going to need one of two things. One, they need an overabundance of information to feel comfortable taking action. Or B, they need a partnership with somebody like me to then feel comfortable saying, I'm not going to fail because if this person says yes, I know who to bring it to. If the person says no, I also know who to bring it to overcome that objection and then learn in the process, right? And so it's one of those two things. I would suggest keep doing what you're doing and get around people that are closing. That sounds easier than it actually is. If you're a cashier, you probably can't afford to be in my community. I totally get that. It's why I give away free content. You are the reason why I do these trainings.
Yeah, I appreciate like me going through the YouTube and finding your content and stuff. It's really what helped me along the way because I had kind of started learning from your content, and then I had went and joined another like free mentorship type deal, and they kind of gave me like some information and stuff like that and helped me get started, but then they kind of fell apart, so I kind of been on my own. But being able to like watch you and other people go and still accomplish these things, like when they came from around the same start as me, it's been really inspiring. So I've been doing everything in my budget, like buying batch leads, to pull seller lists, to find buyers, to be able to cold call them and stuff like that. And yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem. I mean, I love the fact that you're a cashier and I used to be a cashier. So hopefully that is even further inspiration for you. We all started somewhere and you're out there trying to make it happen. I didn't have what you have. I didn't have YouTube when I was a cashier. I didn't have podcasts. I didn't have Apple Music. I didn't have, even iPhones did not exist when I was a cashier. I didn't even get a cell phone until 3 years after I was a cashier when I was 22 years old. So do you feel like you have a unique advantage over me?
Yeah, I got ChatGPT. I got my phone. I can, hop on
Yes.
things like this and ask questions.
Now, the challenge here is that you also can be oversaturated with too much information and it can trick you into thinking, oh, I'm doing the thing. Like, oh, I'm learning, I'm working, I'm trying. Like right now, there's somebody on here, 800 people have hung out with me for 2.5 hours. There's somebody on here right now that's saying, they're going to tell their wife, their spouse, their boyfriend, their husband tonight, I really tried hard to get a deal today. I was on Pace's training. There's literally no practical action that's being taken today. There will be on tomorrow and on Thursday. We'll take some practical action. I'll take you guys through some steps, but there can easily be an overabundance of too much information that keeps you from being successful. So in some ways you have a disadvantage. I didn't have information, so it was just like, take action, right? Okay, so in the side chat, I think there was a question. I think it was Ava. She said, okay, let me go to Ava Monroe. I think she raised her hand too. She wanted to get me to answer this question. Ava Monroe. It's a Morby method question. Ava, what's up? Hi.
Hear you say you want a bigger house.
Ava, your internet is so bad. You're really
Oh
choppy.
no, don't say that.
Oh
no. Is it
okay,
better?
It's better now. I don't know why, but wherever you are standing, stay where you are.
Got it. Okay. I've heard you say that if the seller wants a big down, it turns into a Morby method. I'm dealing with that now with a house, and I'm curious to know why, because the sellers are open to seller finance.
Mhm.
Morby method was my idea because of what I've heard people say. But I'm curious to know, why couldn't we just do a typical, in air quotes, seller finance with a 50% down, and they actually want an 18-month balloon, which is a little crazy, but that's what they want. So why does it have to be a Morby method and not just a typical seller finance?
It doesn't. It doesn't have to be that. Let's go through a couple of examples, okay? Remember, when I'm communicating on YouTube, I have to keep things really dumb.
Okay.
Okay. And I also have to, have you ever heard the phrase, give them, or let's see, people are going to roast me for this, or going to hate this. I don't mean the people are dumb. I just have to dumb it down to like simple
Yeah.
terms. Have you ever heard the phrase, give them a bacon wrapped pill?
No, but I get what it is.
Okay, so here's what that means. It means that there are very complicated structures and there's more skillful deals that are required as you go later into your career that I will never talk about on YouTube. Why?
Right.
Because people on YouTube are so uneducated that I have to communicate to people in free trainings like this, right? And free trainings on YouTube as if every single deal is going to be a zero down deal, no money out of your pocket, and you don't have to have any skills.
Right.
The skill that you are actually talking about here is, do I do deals where I bring large, significant chunks of money as down payments? Yes. I've got a deal right now. It's a $20 million deal. And the seller wants a $5 million down payment.
Okay.
Okay. So I said, why don't we do a Morby method? And I said, why do I want to do a Morby method? Well, a Morby method allows me to be zero out of pocket. It doesn't mean I won't be zero out of pocket here. I could go bring in partners on this particular deal, right? I could bring in $5 million of other people's money, correct?
Well, yes. And so you
Not you.
couldn't.
Not you. Obviously, you're not at that skill level yet. You can't just go raise $5 million, nor are you doing a multifamily deal. You're doing a single family deal. But a Morby method deal allows me, my friend, it allows me to go do a zero out of pocket deal. It also allows me to get paid up front when I do a Morby method deal. So it doesn't have to be a Morby method deal, but I would prefer it to be because I can do zero out of pocket. I can get paid up front. Now, what is the downside to a Morby method deal? A downside to a Morby method deal is that it requires what? It requires a bank.
Large. Yes.
Morby method is the only creative finance strategy that requires a bank. And so if it requires a bank, a lot of newbies will also run away from a Morby method because they'll go, especially people off my YouTube channel that are like, I'm at the basketball court and I don't have a basketball. Therefore, I can't play. Right. And so, Ava, people will try and run away from the Morby method because they go, well, yeah, it requires a 50% bank loan. And then I have to ask the seller to carry in second lien position. That's a skill that is required, which is why on yesterday, I said Morby method is a higher tier creative finance strategy. So do you have to do a Morby method deal? The answer is no. You could very easily just go raise the money from a private money lender. Okay. You could bring in, you could go raise the money. Gosh, my pen does not want to work today. So you could go raise the money. Now, this is a different skill set, isn't it? Do you currently have the skill set to go raise money on a 50% down deal on an 18-month balloon? Do you have that skill set currently?
No,
Okay, so
I don't.
this is why we run. This is why we run away from those deals. It is not based on the deal not being a deal. It's based on your level of skill and your ability to get the deal done based on raising money.
Right.
You don't have that skill. I don't really. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say this isn't for me. I'm actually helping someone acquire a home and kind of going back and forth with them about the best way that they should do that. So for me, absolutely not. But for them, maybe a bank loan is the best way via, Morby method. I just don't want to advise someone to do something that is not necessary. And so I always hear if the seller wants a bigger down, we do Morby method. And so I'm always wondering, well, if the seller wants a big down, could someone, get a loan just like someone would from a lender, which I don't think it's the same. Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
And just do like a regular seller finance with like you said, 50% upfront or however much upfront and however much over time. It doesn't necessarily have to come from
Are
a
you a
bank
real estate agent?
and be like
what
a Morby method.
What role are you playing in this?
I'm the connector. I'm the connector between the person who wants to buy the home and needs the financing and the people who give the financing. So I'm the bridge between the lenders and the person purchasing the home.
Okay, got it. So you're non-licensed. You're trying to be a connector and bring somebody to this deal. You're trying to be way more than a connector. I want to be clear here. If you are negotiating with anybody, you are not a connector. You are a
Oh, no,
wholesaler.
not negotiating, just speaking with the buyer and kind of, trying to figure out what strat will work best for what loan she should get.
Okay, so you have a deal. Is it already under contract, or are you communicating with the agent and the seller?
It's already under contract.
Okay, so it's already under contract, which means that the terms are already set, which means that you already have a wholesaler that's bringing this deal to you. Is that correct?
Nope, I am direct to buyer. The buyer is
Sweetheart, sweet
how
woman.
do I put it?
Sweet woman,
Yeah.
please listen to me. You are mixing up roles here, and I want to make sure we fix this, okay? You've got a buyer.
I hope I'm not.
You are. You've got a buyer. That's the back end, okay? You are this person right here. This is Ava. Where is the deal coming from? Is it an agent, a wholesaler? Where is the deal coming from?
The agent is actually the buyer who's purchasing for themselves.
Wow. Okay, here we go. Now you see why I'm trying to get to, like, what the heck are we doing? Okay, so hold on a second.
Yes.
You still have not answered where the deal's coming from. If you, there ain't no way, unless, man, this is the craziest deal I've ever heard. Who is
no,
representing
it's so
the
much more.
seller?
It's me.
Okay, it's you. Okay. Can you tell that I do this for a living? I am a deal detective. It's not adding up. Help me understand what's really going on.
Okay. So basically, there is a person who just happens to be an agent who is buying a home for themselves. They want to use it as a rental property. They know this person personally. That is why the seller has decided to allow the buyer to purchase it via seller finance, only because of their personal relationship. So I know this person who happens to be the agent, and she's saying, I'm going to have to get a loan for what they want, like 50% down. So I'm going to have to she's saying, I'm going to have to get a loan for that. Where do I go? That creates me being the connector between her. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I understand the structure of the deal. Okay. Thank you. These people are already communicating. The agent is also the buyer. And guess what? She is not. Can I tell you what she is not? She is not an agent.
Oh,
you're going to say, yes, she is, Pace. She is not. Yes, she is, Pace. She's a licensed agent. Okay. Is she representing herself as an agent in the transaction? Yes or no?
No.
Then she's not an agent.
Right.
So I want you guys to understand roles that people are playing in all these transactions are important. When you say, oh, I have an agent, I immediately go, okay, the agent's representing a buyer, or you are not an agent. Where are my investors in here that are also a licensed agent that do not represent yourself as an agent when you are the buyer? Can I get a me in the side chat, everybody? Meaning you go to buy a deal and you're not trying to say, hi, I'm the real estate agent on the transaction. No, you're not. You are not the real estate agent on the transaction. That is not the hat you are wearing. The hat you are wearing is the investor. So in this particular situation, Jay Orr says she should be representing herself. Guys, this belief system of, like, I'm going to represent myself is only helpful in a cash transaction. It is not helpful in a seller finance transaction. Okay. An agent should not represent anybody on a deal if they are the ones buying the deal. They should just be a buyer. That's it. Okay. So you've got a buyer that wants to buy this deal. They are already in communication directly with the seller. So there is no negotiations being done on your behalf. You just so happen to know this person, and they say, hey, Ava, don't you kind of know this creative finance thing? And they ask you a question and you're saying, ooh, how can I make money on answering this question to this person? That's essentially what you're asking me. Is that correct?
Not exactly, but we're in the neighborhood, but not
Holy
exactly.
crap, Ava.
I'm sorry, Pace. I'm sorry. I don't want to be frustrating.
I'm teaching people. So you got to let me be emphatic. You got to let me be,
Okay, go ahead.
you
Go
got
ahead.
to
Go
let
ahead.
me
Go
be
ahead.
entertaining. You got to let me
I'm
entertain
sorry.
700 or 800 people. You can't think I'm actually
Okay.
upset. Okay.
I know. I know. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Help me
ahead.
understand what I'm missing. Cause I want to give you
Okay.
I want to give the answer, but you don't give me half the truth. Don't give me 3/4 of the
Right.
truth. Give
Oh
me
no, I'm
what's
giving
going
you
on.
everything.
Okay.
Right. So I'm a gator.
Okay.
And so I believe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, connecting lenders and people, which is,
Yep. Yes.
okay. So that is what I'm doing here.
Yeah. So here's a couple of answers. Okay. So if you are going to connect her to a lender, you are going to give her a lender that you can make money on. So one of them would be Vontiv would be a good one inside of Gator. You can go and get Vontiv's connection. Tomorrow, I'll also post in the Gator group for you a new lender relationship that you can refer her to.
I can't get in the gator group yet. That's a whole nother that's a whole nother issue. Don't go down that, don't go
Okay,
down the
got it.
road.
Okay,
Okay.
can you email Carly at pacemorby.com and she'll help you out then?
Okay.
Okay, Carly will give you the relationship to the lender.
Okay.
Okay, and all you're doing is you're going to communicate with the lender preemptively, saying, "Hey, my name is Ava, and I'm going to send over somebody who needs financing. Can we make sure that I get a referral agreement or an affiliate agreement before I send them over?" They're going to send you an agreement. You're going to sign that agreement. You send your agent friend over to them, and they will help you go get a loan. Now, this is going to be a DSCR loan. It's going to be an investor loan, et cetera. Or let's say that's really simple and very clean. That's called Gator 2.0. Do you have access to Gator 2.0 training?
Yes, I am loving all of it.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
So I would
Yes,
just
yes.
rehearse Gator 2.0 training because that's essentially what this is. I make probably 50 grand a month on Gator 2.0 without even trying. It's amazing. I love it. However, if she does a Morby method deal, okay, so let's say that the seller goes, well, I am willing to do seller finance, but I want a large down payment. Well, there's a couple things she can do. Going out and getting a loan with a traditional lender that will bring 70% of the purchase to the transaction is a Morby method. Her going and getting a loan at a finance institution that will be in first lien position, and then the seller will carry in a second lien position is a Morby method deal. So you are essentially referring her to a lender that will give her a loan for her Morby method transaction.
Absolutely. And that part has done.
Okay, so you already connected her to a lender. Okay, so where are you stuck now that you have this information?
Well, for my own personal curiosity, because I am new, I just like again, so I just want to make sure that that I know for me, and obviously for moving forward is what I'm going to be doing. That when someone, I guess the reason why someone, or specifically you, I'll say, what is the reason why you use that language and saying, well, if the seller wants a bigger down payment, then it becomes a Morby method, rather than saying if a seller wants a big down payment and they've agreed to do seller finance, then they can have that without it technically being called Morby method.
Yeah, that would be just called,
because there are more moving parts.
if it's just a straight up seller finance deal, which is common. So like going back to the big multifamily deal, that big multifamily deal, $20 million deal, that seller wanted 25% down, $5 million. I offered Morby method. They said no. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first reason why anybody says no is because they don't understand you.
Okay.
Period. End of story. And so I asked the seller in that particular situation, I said, am I not doing a good job explaining myself? And I realized he said, no, I just don't want to carry in a second lien position. I'm okay carrying my note with you in first lien position, but I don't want to be behind another loan. Oh,
Got
okay,
it.
great. So the second reason they're going to say no to you is because they don't understand the benefit. So I said, well, I can give you a lot more money this way. I can give you a larger down payment. He goes, I don't need that. So you go through all these things in a Morby method, which you're not trained on Morby method. That's not what Gator get trained on. They get trained on connecting lenders and all that kind of stuff. And so you'll obviously go through, right? Like, okay, so for example, why did you take your wife to pizza the other night? Because I asked her if she wanted lasagna. I asked her if she wanted sushi. I asked her if she wanted this, and I whittled it down to figuring out she wanted pizza. That's why I took her to pizza. Okay, so it wasn't like you have to take her to pizza every day. I'm like, no, I had to go through a line of questioning. So it's the same thing with Morby method. I want a large down payment. Okay, great. Why do you want a large down payment? Because I need the money to buy another thing. Okay, got it. Why do you need that money for the next thing? Could I help you buy that next thing with seller finance? No, I already have the thing. I'm going to buy it cash. I need a large down payment. Okay, cool. If I give you a large down payment, are you okay being in second lien position? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I don't know the answer is. You have to ask this to the seller, or your friend has to ask this to the seller. No, I'm not. Okay, great. Would you be okay? This is Morby method training you don't have access to, but I'll go fast through this. If the seller's not okay with a second lien position, then you put the seller in an operating agreement as a silent partner until they're bought out and they're not in second lien position. They actually own the entity with you. So they're your partner in the deal instead of being in second lien position. Hey, so will you say that again? Oh my gosh, you went through that really fast. Go to Morby Method YouTube. You'll hear it 15 times.
Got it.
You go through a line
is,
of questioning and until you figure out this is not a good fit. Let's pivot to a different type of transaction. Your seller, who you are not communicating with, is going to be kind of hard to figure this out. Your friend's going to have to do this. So are there sellers that go, no, I don't want a Morby method. I just want a large down payment and you need to figure it out. And are there times where I go and put a bunch of money together from partners and bring that cash and then the seller finances the remaining? Yes, that is common. It happens very frequently. I just prefer not to go that route. Why would I not want to go that route? Well, because I have to give up equity to the people that come into the deal, or I have to give interest to the people that come into the deal. I prefer to be in the deal with no money out of my pocket, get paid up front, and have no partners in the deal. And so I prefer to go after Morby method, if that makes sense.
Just in the commission of you saying those last two sentences, it's 100% clear. So that answered my total question, because if it were traditional seller finance, the sellers are in first position. With a Morby method, they are forced to be in second position unless they are a part of an agreement that makes them a partner. Got it. Oh, that was beautiful. Got it. I do.
And that portion of that is on YouTube. It's just the paperwork and how it's structured is deep dived and trained on inside of SubTo. But good question. Guys, when you ask me questions, the best thing you could ever do is just tell me what's going on, because I will figure it. I will go, this doesn't make sense. 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 I do so much real estate. I know what I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense. What is going on, right? I'm trying to piece the thing together, okay? Okay, I've been on here for 3 hours, had a lot of fun today. Did you guys have fun listening to that broker call and the breakdown and what I'm going to do with that broker and where does that relationship go? Tomorrow, I think we should talk about off-market deals, and I think we should talk specifically about mobile home parks and how do we find mobile home parks, and then how do we submit offers? I think that's the main focus that we want to talk about tomorrow. I wish I could just do live seller calls and broker calls all the time. That's what I love to do, but people can get overwhelmed by that, and they need to learn all the other things too. Okay. Thank you guys. I hope today was a good masterclass. I appreciate you guys. We will be back here tomorrow. I'm going to go hang out with my kiddos and make out with my wife. So we'll see you guys back here at the same exact time. Remember guys, if you guys are in SubTo, this is not a private SubTo Zoom. This is just a free, like, what would I say this? This is like pro bono. I just do 4 days of pro bono training. I just give away 4 days of training every single month to free Facebook groups and YouTube, and I just give it away. Just give it away. If you're in SubTo, please look at the SubTo calendar. We have 39 Zooms a week. Whatever you need is in there. Also, Friday, I'm making 3 hours of seller calls back to back to back. Go to the SubTo calendar, and I will see you guys in there. But we'll see you guys back here tomorrow.